I see multiple journalists on the horizon. Stand by. Team deathmatch. Delta T, you are clear to engage. Founder, no.
You're watching TBPN!
Today is Friday, August 29th, 2025. We are live from the TBPN Ultradome, the Temple of Technology, the Fortress of Finance, the capital of capital. Jordy's fired up because we got
we're live
VHS
on VHS.
Live on VHS. It is crazy.
They said it couldn't be done.
They said it couldn't be done.
But we did it.
Here we are.
Ben did it.
We're here.
Our champion.
We're talking about we're channeling the vibes of the .com boom because we, of course, today we are talking about the history doesn't quite repeat, but it rhymes. Today we are talking about Labubus and the story of Pop Mart, which to me really stands out as a similar, like in the .com boom, there was this, the Beanie Babies went on a similar run. Incredibly popular, built on the back of .com technology. I remember going over to a friend's house and loading the beaniebabies.com website, and it was so heavy because it had all these images.
Did it take like minutes to load?
It took minutes to load because they, like whoever built the website just didn't kind of think about like how long it would take.
Well, but even then it was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It takes 30 minutes to go to the store.
Exactly. Oh, if it takes 5 minutes to load all
minutes.
down. And so, yeah, the page would load, the HTML would load, and then slowly one image after another would load in. And you could really feel the difference at the time. Many people were on dial-up, which was 56K, which is like a staggeringly slow speed compared to what you get even just on like a plane. Yeah. And then DSL was
Daniel
one level
posted that United has Starlink now.
Yeah, and I think it's 300 megs per second. 300 megs. So that's what 6,000 times faster than what we were experiencing back in like the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And so then you could upgrade to DSL. DSL was between 256K and 1.5 megs. I had a friend who had a T1 line, which was like enterprise level internet in the 90s. It was 1 meg up and down, so you could get equal upload symmetrical line. And he could load the Beanie Baby website faster than anyone. It was like a true status symbol at the time. Yeah, it was Alpha. His parents were very successful.
What was the most expensive Beanie Baby transaction ever? Do you know? I
don't know. I do know that prices peaked throughout. They perfectly tracked the .com boom. So in 1998, Ty, which is Ty Warner, his company is called Ty, TY. They make Beanie Babies. They made $1.4 billion in sales, making it one of the fastest growing toy companies in history. 2 years later, the market crashed almost overnight. Prices on the secondary market plummeted as supply overwhelmed demand, and speculative buyers exited. So people were in the habit of And yes, Adrian in
Interesting.
the
So
chat
the
is
most-
correct. eBay was a major driver of Beanie Babies' growth because people could buy them, and then the secondary market was way more liquid than ever before. Before it was like, okay, if you buy some rare drop or some limited edition thing, and you want to go sell it, you have to go to like a trade show that maybe happens every once a year. You have to find maybe your local shop, but there's not that much liquidity. Remember when we were talking to our friend about the collectible card market, Beatles memorabilia? He was saying like, I only need 2 buyers. It's very easy to find 2 buyers if you're interacting at internet scale.
Totally.
It's harder if you're in some town and you have a rare Beanie Baby and you need to see, are there any other crazy Beanie Baby fans in this town? So eBay was a huge, Beanie Babies, the original or unicorn startup, essentially. I mean, it was an overnight success in the sense that I think the business was going for about a decade before the boom, but they rode the wave of the internet.
Interestingly,
And,
most expensive Labubu ever sold was $170,000 in June of this year.
Yep.
And the most expensive Beanie Baby ever sold was something around $500,000.
$500,000. Oh, we got room to run, baby. We got room to run in the Labubu market. So my question is like, what is driving the Labubu? Enjoy your victory lap. Get out there, get some exercise, do some push-ups halfway through the lap.
Aiden.
Enjoy it.
Beltsky. Did we say that right?
Beltskis.
Yes.
Beltskis?
We said your full name now.
Anyway,
there we go.
Thanks for watching. So Labubu clearly a beneficiary of the social media boom of TikTok, of the unboxing culture, Temu culture, live shopping culture, flex culture.
Because people put them on, their purse.
Interestingly, not even though it's like money is cheap right now, everything is going up and to the right. The market is booming. I can't find I can't really find a bridge between like the AI boom and Labubus. It seems like it's just the social media boom that we're continuing to see.
It's the fart coins, the Labubus.
Yes. Yeah. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of just like gambling culture has infiltrated everything from sports betting, obviously, is legal in more states and has been on a tear for a long time, to folks been gambling on crypto and stocks and out of the money options, all the way to the collector culture on all sorts of different platforms. Like there's just a broad boom happening here. And then there's also the China angle, which I think is interesting. We were talking about this yesterday, that China hasn't had a major cultural export. And this might be sort of the first one, more or less. Like TikTok counts in some ways, but TikTok, I see it as like a bucket that fills up with the local culture of the people that open the app. Like if you're in LA, you see LA
Chinatown when you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
but you can certainly access that if you wind up in that filter, if you search the right keywords, and then you can
same with
go there. Yeah, same with Instagram. But by default, I don't see TikTok as like a uniquely Chinese cultural export.
It's an export, not a cultural export.
It's a technology. It's a technology, and of course, like China has been exporting like manufacturing technology and manufacturing prowess for a long time. And
got a real win with the demon dolls.
They do look crazy, right? I don't like them. Yeah. They just rub me the wrong way. I don't know. Something is weird, but I'm just not into it. I don't know.
That's why we bought one for Bill Bishop's dog.
Tashi.
We're excited for Tashi to rip it
apart. Rip it apart, yes. It feels, it's not a good look. I don't like the aesthetics at all. It's very odd.
I would not buy one for my child.
The bigger question that I have that I think we want to answer, so we're going to dig into the history of Pop Mart, take you through some of the history of Labubus. The question that I have is like, the horse is out of the stable with like gambling on toys, clearly. Think about the TikTok story. There was a big discussion, nationwide discussion a few years ago. Should we ban TikTok? Is it spyware? Is it influencing our culture? Is it causing brain rot? Where did we land on that as America? We said, yeah, it's fine. We're good. The answer was YouTube will compete in shorts and Instagram will compete in reels, and TikTok will be out there, and buyer beware. Like what you're using, and you're an American, you're a free person, and if you want to use that app, you can. And if you want to come over to a different app and you trust Mark Zuckerberg's
stated
team
versus
or
stated
Sundar
versus
Pichai's team,
revealed preference. People are like, I just want to follow my friends.
Yep.
But the feeds that are algo driven.
Yep.
Get used more.
And so my pitch and what I'm kind of digging into, what I wrote about in the newsletter this morning, you should subscribe at Substack to our Substack.
TBPN.substack.com.
Is the conclusion to the TikTok debate was the YouTube team and the Instagram team need to launch direct competitors and take it very seriously. And Mark Zuckerberg invested like tens of billions of dollars, I think, in like data center build out to actually support Reels and the algo feeds. And they took it really seriously and they executed very well. So what's the conclusion to the Labubu story? Well, it's probably like Ty, the maker of Beanie Babies, or Mattel, the maker of Barbie,
has to get
getting into blind boxes. Yeah, like that's the only answer. That's where the arrow of progress moves
Children
in but one
want
direction.
to gamble.
They want to gamble, and so I think that's the end state here. And I'm that's the situation that I'm monitoring. I'm not holding my breath, being like, oh yeah, Labubus are going away anytime soon. Yeah, sure, there might be like a bubble and then it subsides, but in general, I think that the future is like more mystery boxes under the Christmas tree, generally, broadly in American culture. Like we love gambling, we love freedom. Pick your poison.
Buying somebody gambling as a gift is crazy.
You
buy you this blind box.
You never give someone scratchers? Give someone scratchers. It's great.
We should give the team scratchers. Send them off into their 3-day weekend.
I bet some of the boys are like, I'm into scratchers. I had a friend in college who was into scratchers.
Really?
You know, the thrill of a scratcher.
Did
I
he
bought
ever hit
one
it
lotto
big?
ticket in my life, and it was electric. I was like, I'm going to win. Like, it's going to happen. And then it didn't, and I was like, okay, I'm never spending $2 ever again on that. But anyway, this is what happened with video games. They went free to play plus microtransactions. The whales drive everything, price discrimination and everything. We see this with OnlyFans. We see this with the future of romantic companions. Price discrimination is key, and this will probably unlock some of that. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I think if you're a toy maker, you got to get into mystery boxes. Unfortunately, maybe unfortunately, but like that's where the culture's moved.
Late stage capitalism.
Pretty much.
Which I would say we're just getting started.
Pretty much. Anyway, let's go through. Brandon Gurrell has a fantastic thread on Pop Mart, and Tyler has the story here.
Full history.
Do you want to take us through the history?
Yeah.
Tyler,
Okay.
what you got for us?
Can we pull this up on VHS, Ben? I think this is going to be important.
There we go.
There we go.
Clear as day.
Oh man, yeah.
It
Okay.
is.
So I think we should
I
first.
just love the way this looks.
Yes.
I can't help it.
Okay, let's first go through some big numbers here. So Pop Mart, public company, currently at what, like around 55 billion.
Yes.
Hong Kong
Wang
markets.
Ning is now the 10th richest person in China. He's worth $28 billion. Wow. Pretty crazy.
Credit where credit is due.
And a lot of the data sources here are Chinese, and we tried to double check everything by translating, but there might be some details that are wrong. So, you know.
Okay, so
Continue.
yeah, they have almost 600 retail stores, 2,500 vending machines, revenues at 1.8 billion.
Vending machines. That's fascinating.
That's really the big thing. That
Yeah.
was big. It kind of so the kind of main story of Pop Mart is that they basically took a lot of things that were first in Japan and then brought them to China
Okay.
and then exported them basically worldwide.
Yeah.
But yeah, the revenue is 106% growth year over year, and then 700 million of that is just overseas.
Yeah, the stat was crazy. I think in the first half of this year, they beat last year's total revenue.
Yeah.
And they're already like a scaled,
that good?
pretty huge company.
Is that good?
It's I think it's better than Nvidia. It's the backbone of the economy. Okay, so take us through some of the
so
history.
2010,
Yeah.
in Beijing, Wang Ning starts
Yep.
it.
Okay.
Originally, basically, it's just like retail store for these little collectibles.
Yeah.
They don't. There's a bunch of stores that do like license other people's IP. So there's like, I think they originally started with some Marvel.
Okay. Yeah.
But then really, the majority of the revenue is just from like their custom IP that they basically license from artists they find.
Yeah, so that's the nature of like Pop Mart. Like it's like pop culture market.
Yeah.
And Brandon says
And
started as a
Wang's-
single variety mall store. Think Spencer's or Hot Topic. They couldn't get investment at the time because no one thought adult toys would work. Now he's the 10th.
And when Wang was growing up, his parents ran small shops.
Oh.
So it was
Yeah,
in the
In
DNA.
family. Okay.
Yeah. So then
Continue.
2014, this is when they basically bring over these Sunny Angels. These are the Japanese like figurines.
Yep.
And this is when they start the blind boxes. This is like really the main thing that spurs the rest of their growth.
Yep.
2015.
Wait. Before this is actually crazy. Brandon has some extra context here. So he starts the company in 2010. A year out of college, he had an undergraduate degree in advertising and a short stint at the Chinese version of Twitter. His single variety store in Beijing, in a Beijing mall, it's essentially a reseller. He has 7 employees. Spends 2 years selling third-party stuff on thin margins, trying to scale with debt. But it's hard to finance because investors don't get selling toys to adults. He manages to raise $320,000 equivalent in RMB, and then $1 million around there in 2013, which he uses to open 3 new mall shops. And then in 2014, he hits his first lick, finds a repeatable format, blind boxes. So take us into that.
Okay, so they start with that. These are still different figurines from Japan.
Yeah, these Sunny Angel blind boxes. They
Yeah.
look kind of like 90s troll dolls. Interesting.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, and I don't think we covered specifically what a blind box is. It's
Yep.
you're going in, you're paying a generic price for something,
Yep.
and you have no idea what's in it. It could be the super generic one of 100,000
Yep.
item, or it could be ultra limited, and so you just get this massive. Buyers get this massive dopamine rush when they're buying
Yeah.
it. They're paying, and that whatever item they unpack might immediately be worth like some significant multiple of what they paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Kind of like angel investing.
so it has, yeah, but way more condensed. It's like I buy this and then I immediately figure out am I going to get
Put
a crazy
$100,000 in,
return.
10 cap.
But unlike
might be
angel
worth-
investing,
yeah,
I think
it might be
there's like
worth
a
zero.
floor, right? Angel investing you easily go to zero. Labubu's like have somewhat stable.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it has some
Yeah.
market value.
So if you're trying to like gamble less and you're addicted to angel investing, maybe downgrade to just Labubus and
Yeah.
loot boxes.
a big attraction of, especially the Labubus, which we can get into later,
Yeah.
is like they have like these sets that come out. So it'll be like
and you would
10
collect the full set.
Yeah, it's like
Got
10, and then they're basically all the same, except like the color of the fur is slightly different or something.
Yep.
But
And
then
so people
you
are
wanna
trying to
collect the
create a
whole set.
complete set, which will then sell for more.
Yeah,
than-
but obviously,
than
if there's
the-
10, you can't just buy 10 of the boxes because you're probably not going to get all of them.
Yeah.
So you have to buy.
Do you
way
think
more.
that Porsche should get into blind boxes? Imagine if like you could just buy 911s only with blind boxes.
And it's like you might get a turbo
It's like
S, you might get a
200K.
GT3 S.
You might just get you might get a Carrera T, like super base model.
Yeah,
you might get a
an ST.
GT3 RS.
You might get an ST. Wow. There might be something there. I don't know.
Okay.
Who's the one to do it?
I mean, people would be sending it on those.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, and you just work out the expected value, right? So you
Yeah.
just charge whatever the expected value is. There isn't quite enough of a delta. They need to throw in like a Carrera GT as well, a few of those as well.
Yeah.
But
You used to see a similar thing in the sneaker market when that was like a really big thing.
Really?
On eBay, you would
Okay.
see these like third-party like mystery boxes.
oh, eBay would just do it. Interesting.
It wasn't- it was
No,
people
no,
on
no,
eBay.
no,
people on
sellers.
eBay, but that's crazy because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's even like less regulated because they can just totally like cook the books. I
Oh,
feel like,
yeah, for
like
sure.
versus like a real company that
Yeah.
has probably some sort of oversight.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know how many people were actually buying it, or
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like for YouTube that they
Yeah,
would make
yeah,
the
yeah.
videos like, oh, I bought this $500 mystery box.
I remember I bought a mystery box of cords on a Woot.com, which was an electronics reseller that was bought by Amazon. And
That's so Coogan coded.
It's
just
incredibly
buying a box of cords.
it was just electronics. It was like, so Woot.com would go around and find like a bunch of electronics that had been discounted. I bought an HD projector that was probably like $3,000 for like $600 because like they were like going out of stock and they just needed to like liquidate. And so Woot would go and buy the liquidation and then put it on the website and you could just buy it, but it was limited time. They would just do one daily deal every day. And one day they just did a mystery box and you could just buy, it would just maybe like literally like whatever was in their facility, they would just like pack up for you. And who knows? I got like, oh, this is like HDMI to DVI cable or something.
Yeah. You can probably
Let's
trace back
go.
something like, do you remember Storage Wars, the show?
Yeah, yeah,
Where
yeah,
it's like
very
they open
similar.
it, you can't go in, but you can
Yep.
just see the front, and then you have
Yep.
to try to estimate the value.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
Yeah.
so there's probably some lineage there.
It's great.
So when did China figure out that this was gambling? Because they banned the sale of Labubus to kids under 8 years old.
Yeah.
But that still means you got 10 years before you're legally adult. here in the U.S. at least, where
Yeah. Also, I
gambling
I don't know how many like
is
actual
okay.
8-year-olds are going to the store and buying it. And it's not their parents.
Yeah.
So it's kind of unclear.
Well, if you're worried
that,
about your
but-
employees gambling with your company funds, get on ramp.com. Time is money, save both. Easy to use corporate cards, bill payments, accounting, and a whole lot more all in one place. Go to ramp.com. Very easy to set a rule in Ramp.
No Pop
No Labubu.
No
Pop
Pop Mart.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, so let's go back. So,
Yeah.
so 2015 is when Labubu first appears as, it's in a picture book. So
Okay.
this has nothing to do with Pop Mart. It's just this other artist, Kai-Sing Lung. And then 2016, this is Pop Mart's first like kind of real IP that they created that like went super viral.
Yes. Ning, in 2016, Ning tries something new. He flies to Hong Kong and meets with artist Kenny Wong, who had created the trendy toy figurine Molly in 2006 and was a big designer in the toy niche. There, he negotiates an exclusive license with Wong to develop and sell Molly products and blind boxes. Interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's done around 800 million in revenue.
Whoa.
Since 2016.
Let's go. Yeah. So selling Molly not only gives Ning more control and capitalizes on trendy toy plus blind box signal, but it capitalizes on Kenny Wong's fan base and leads Ning to his next big unlock, betting big on controlling existing toy IP with a built-in fan base instead of selling third party. So in 2017, sales of Molly are going nuts. Total 22 million by end of year for Molly. Pop Mart rolls out vending machines, reducing rent they had to pay in malls and establishing way deeper reach with fandom. Company begins replicating the Molly
unregulated slot machines.
Yeah, basically. And then they Pucky is another Hong Kong artist derivative that they launch, and then they launch a satyr. You know, it's like half like goat legs, which is very odd. They're getting
Not beating the Antichrist allegations.
Yes, if you've been at the PT lectures in SF for who the Antichrist is, I think we got a lead here. I think we got a lead. Did you already write that?
Yeah, this is already there. Yeah,
You already wrote that? That's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of allegations here. I mean, it's unclear whether, what the original
I think we
intentions
solved
were.
it, folks. Yeah, we've solved it. Wait, is there really a star on them? Is that a thing, or did you
no,
just draw
I just
that?
wrote
The pentagram?
I just drew
Okay,
that, yeah.
okay.
Well, that's why, question mark.
Max
It could
over
be.
in the Substack chat says we need to tokenize the Labubus. I think that's how you
That's
get the next
obviously
leg
happening
up.
next. We know that's going to happen. We know that's going to happen. CSGO loot boxes walked so Labubu could run.
Brandon in the X chat says we got to get a bezel box going. Totally agree.
Agree.
Quaid,
Yeah,
let's get some blind
do
boxes
it.
going. You might get a Nautilus. You might get a Tudor.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, so where are we?
Okay,
2019?
so now 2019,
Okay.
Labubu is then licensed to Pop Mart.
Yep. So just in 2018, right before this, sales spiked to 73 million on the back of Molly. Around this time, Pop Mart builds its own in-house design team, the Pop Design Center, like a Porsche Design Center. It becomes a powerful pipeline alongside ever more exclusive artist licenses and big non-exclusive entertainment licenses. If you want to entertain people on a stream, get on Restream. One live stream, 30 plus destinations.
That's right.
Multi-stream and reach your audience wherever they are. Continue.
Okay, so they license in 2019, but they don't actually release like the modern Labubu doll until 2023.
So it's in the book or whatever.
Yeah, so
like they're
it's
starting
in
to
the book.
build the lore, build the IP.
They do characters, they do
Yeah,
little
yeah.
figurines, but it's not like the kind of modern instantiation. So then let's go to 2020. They IPO at 7 billion in Hong Kong. And
so,
then
wait, hold on. So continuing with Brandon, 2019, Pop Mart begins selling Labubu blind boxes, an exclusive deal with artist Ka-Sing Lung, Labubu's original character in Lung's picture book trilogy called The Monsters, but was selling his figurines in Hong Kong by 2015. At time of the deal, it's only popular among niche toy collectors. And we do have some images in the deck, by the way, guys. If you want to pull up the pictures of these monsters, yeah. If you scroll down a bunch, there are some photos of the Labubus. It has like kind of a street art vibe, very chaotic drawings. Keep going. There's one more. Keep going. One more. Keep going. That's Molly.
There we go.
That's the first Labubu. The Monsters trilogy by Ka-Sing Lung, the story of Puka, Pato, and the Girl, Miro's Requiem. And so these start selling in 2019. In 2020, Pop Mart raises $100 million on a $2.5 billion valuation. Hit the gong.
I see a large IP here.
And a few months later, IPOs in Hong Kong. Stock rips 80% on opening day. You thought meme stocks were just an American phenomenon. Meme stocks are a worldwide phenomenon.
Got 'em across the pond.
Ning's net worth doubles overnight. He's worth $3.2 billion at open, $6 billion at close. PopMart has a $12.5 billion market cap at close. That's a big company. So let's continue.
Okay, so 2023 is when the blind box Labubu
Yeah.
phenomenon
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
takes off. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is, I think, probably it's mostly due to TikTok.
Yeah.
You see a lot of this, and then 2025 right now it's like around 55 billion.
Now it's at 55. Absolutely incredible. What a run. Should we pull up the Wall Street Journal video? Watch some of that. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
While they're pulling that up, let's tell you about Figma.com. Think bigger, build faster. Figma helps design and development teams build great products together. Folks, get to Figma.com. Design your next Labubu drop.
Yeah, I mean, developing real IP this quickly is incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
IP that can do billions of
Yeah, I mean, it just takes so long. I remember learning about the Lucasfilm acquisition that Disney did, even the Marvel acquisition. These are like, they were big acquisitions at the time, but like single-digit billions, low double-digit billions.
Yep.
And then they just created so much value as they actually monetized the IP and created like shows and merch and like ran the Disney machine around it.
Yeah.
It seems like PopMart's capable of running like a Disney-esque monetization playbook on top of somewhat new IP, which is pretty crazy. Anyway, let's pull up the Wall Street Journal video and watch a bit of that. Aiden says it's nightmare fuel. I agree.
Whenever Chinese retailer PopMart drops a new Labubu designer
Look at
toy,
these.
it sells out within minutes.
Insufficient stock.
It does seem like
These hard-to-get toys are
like
packaged
it's
in blind
truly like a
boxes,
worldwide phenomenon in the sense that
meaning
like
customers
it's
buy
not
them
just women
without
that are
knowing what's
doing
inside.
it. It's not just men. It's like
This is
it's
the
really
main one
people
that I
all over.
actually
not just
watch.
adults, it's
And they
children.
drive the
Children
majority
and
of
Playground.
adults.
PopMart's
Yeah.
revenue,
You would
which
think
more
it's
than
like, oh, it's
doubled
just
in the past
kids.
year.
So yeah, their revenue doubled in the last
Unboxings
year.
have flooded social media. Fans
Yeah.
flock overseas to buy exclusive products.
I mean, it just
And
has the
Labubu dolls have been
natural
spotted
hook.
dangling off of
Look at
celebrities.
Madonna
I go
promoting it.
PopMart everywhere.
But can the company continue to grow beyond this viral moment
Yeah.
that has seen its share prices rocket more than 1,200% since the beginning of
100%.
2024?
Here, pause
This
it.
is
So
the economics of
the
Are you rooting for their downfall?
preying on it even. I don't know. I think the bigger question is like there's something that so it's easy to say like these go viral on social media, like it's a beneficiary of social media, but like if you actually think about why is a Labubu more viral than the latest iteration of Barbie or Beanie Babies? Like there is a reason, and it's directly related to the nature of the algorithm. So when you do an unboxing, it naturally takes about 1 minute if you edit it down to do it, and the reveal comes at the end. So when you watch it, you say, "Oh, someone's doing an unboxing. They're introducing what the stakes are." It has
It's
a
good for the
natural
creator because they could get that retention.
Exactly. It drives retention because it has a natural storyline of like, okay, how did I get this box? How much did I pay for it? What are my expectations? Do I have something on the line? Maybe I'm hoping to build a set, right? I want to build a set. I really am hoping for the red one or whatever. And then you're taken on this journey. And I believe when they unbox them, there's like 2 stages to the unboxing. You take it out of the box, and then there's packages. Tyler,
Yeah,
you know?
so there's a box, and
The
then
third
inside the
stage
box
is when
is
you
a
have your
little
dog
bag.
rip its head off.
and see what's inside. What was this?
So there's the box, and then there's like a nice like opening, you like rip it. It's
Yeah.
like nicely packaged, and then
Yeah.
inside there's a little bag, and then inside the bag is the actual.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. So even that like lends itself to like keeping you engaged for 60 seconds, which is going to drive more virality in the feed.
Aaron Frank, partner at Lightspeed, says, I have the largest single collection of Labubus
No
in
way.
America. No, I'm kidding. He texted me and said, this is hard to watch.
This is hard to watch.
So, sorry, we're forcing you to sit through this, Aaron.
Let's play a
it's
little bit more of the journal video.
Yeah, let's pull it back up.
Yeah. Keep going.
of PopMart. The
Look at this
15-year-old
culture.
company
This
was
is
founded by
crazy
Chinese
outfits
entrepreneur
for
Wang
this.
Ning as a variety
Javon
store.
Lawrence in the chat
But it
says,
was
my
the
startup
blind
has
box
done
packaging
75
that
million
really
in
helped PopMart take
unboxings.
off.
Say more.
Yeah, elaborate,
In
please.
2019, over 70% of Pop Mart's
Tamagotchi
revenue
for
came
real
from
should
mystery
come back.
boxes.
AI-powered
Long history of
Tamagotchi.
blind
That's a
box,
good
and
business,
What we've
Daniel
done
Cook.
is just added our own flavor to that.
Yeah.
Now, the company has more than 500
Look at how
stores and
international
2,000
it is.
vending
Europe,
machines
all
worldwide.
Southeast Asia.
When you decide to splurge on a Pop Mart blind box, which could cost around $20 to $30, you don't go in totally blind. Take this collection. There are 6 possible characters you could unbox, and a secret one that you have a 1 in 72 chance of
1 in
getting.
72.
One of the things that the brand can do to keep engagement, to encourage consumers to get a little more excitement
splash
out
of
of it,
Satanism
is to
in
label the
branding has
box.
historically
This
been a
one
successful
says,
strategy.
have a seat. I
You know,
know
people
the
throw the
range, but I
satanic
still get
panic
that
around a
surprise.
lot, like
But at the
White
same
Monster,
time,
Monster
I know
energy
I'm not
drink.
gonna get
There's like a
anything
whole
wrong.
666. It's
specific range
satanic,
also
but it's always
contains
unclear if it's like the founders are like poking fun at Satanism. Like no one accuses like John Carmack of being satanic by. Or, I mean, I guess people did when he released Doom, but in Doom, it's like you're clearly playing as a mortal, like killing the demons, and that's the name of that. That's the virtue of the game.
Aaron just sent me the stock chart for Build-A-Bear. Have you seen?
Oh
this?
yeah, Build-A-Bear's ripping
Build-A-Bear's-
too. Does Build-A-Bear have loot boxes yet? That could be the next unlock.
Build-A-Bear is up.
It's outperforming Nvidia, I believe.
473% over the past
It's
5
ripping.
years.
It's absolutely ripping. Who's clapping? Those
Build-A-Bear blind boxes. No more building. Just gambling, children. Just come into the store.
Yeah. If Labubu is like the slot machine that you pull out of the vending machine, Build-A-Bear should turn it into like a game of like high stakes.
Has anybody done like remote Labubu openings, so it's just actually like?
I think
on your-
I've seen that. Who was it? Blake Robbins posts about this a lot. How there's like apps in the app store that are.
Oh, it's probably
gambling.
happening on like Whatnot, to be honest.
Well, have you seen the Claw game? So there is an app that you can download and you can pay real money to use a claw in the real world to pick something out of a machine or like a bucket, and whatever you pick out, you get to keep, and they will mail it to you.
Wow.
And so it's not technically gambling. Somehow they got some like loophole there. Very,
Yeah, so
very
right
crazy.
now on Whatnot, there's like seemingly hundreds of streams selling Labubus.
Wow. Don't gamble, folks. Don't gamble on compliance. Get on Vanta, automated compliance managed risk. Prove trust continuously. Vanta's trust management platform takes the manual work out of your security and compliance process and replaces it with continuous automation, whether you're pursuing your first framework or managing a complex program. Anyway, the last 2 years of what's interesting is the last 2 years of sales of Labubu have been heavily driven by international expansion. They've definitely figured out how to take the brand abroad. It was predominantly growing in mainland China, and I believe it's still growing. It's doubling in China, but it's also like seen maybe like a 10x increase in international sales over the last 2 years. So it's on a tear. It's on a tear. We'll see. We'll see how people respond. We'll see how the American toy companies respond. I feel like this is like the horse has left the stable. The cow has left the barn. The dog has left the dog.
Children yearn for the slots.
They do. They're gonna figure out how to gamble one way or another. I mean, what's the alternative? Like ban Labubu?
Erewhon blind boxes, combo plates.
Yeah.
You might just get the worst slop bowl of your life. How about sweet green blind boxes?
Or you get 12 ounces of beluga
It's like
caviar.
you might get a bunch of steak. You
Yep.
might get a bunch of kale.
You might get some caviar.
Never know.
Anyway, should we pull up this old clip? We're going back 9 years ago. Apple missed earnings, and Tim Cook went on Mad Money with Jim Cramer to talk about the business and explain what was going on. It's called Executive Decision. I want to play this and revisit Apple CEO Tim Cook on Cramer. It's a very interesting discussion. Let's play it.
Pull it up.
And there's a curious, really strange disconnect between what I read and hear on Wall Street about Apple and this. Because if you, it's going to be an impossibility to pry this from me. Cold, dead hand time. You can't. And yet when I read the stories, it seems like people think it's over. How could it be that you can't have this ever, or the ecosystem, but it's dead?
Yeah, I
It's crazy. The narrative in
overreaction.
2016 was like Apple's dead. It's Hewlett Packard of the era. Like it's gonna just be flat. Let's keep playing.
50 billion plus in revenues and 10 billion in profits. To put that in perspective, the 10 billion is more than any other company makes.
We literally made the most money of any company.
But not up to
and
the
you're
street's
hating.
expectations, clearly. What we're seeing is that people are upgrading at a different rate, a lower rate than they did last year.
Okay, pause.
But still higher than the.
If you go back a couple frames to where it's on the close-up of him, this one, it's very weird framing. You're not supposed to frame someone where they're looking off to the side and they're framed like this. If you go to my close-up, like this, so if I'm like this, it's like, and I'm looking off, it looks like I'm cornered in a wall. Like it's bad framing. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have me in this third, and then I'm looking across the frame, and this looks more cinematic, and it looks like there's room. I'm not like backed up against a wall either way.
Yeah,
and
so
I'm wondering if that's just a
2016
mistake.
era CNBC team. Free alpha, free game.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know, but it is an interesting question because sometimes this stuff's deliberate and sometimes it's just accidental. Like sometimes, like the cameraman is just like, I want to put the
Are
TV
you
in
saying
the
they're trying to
background?
make him look like he's backed up into a corner?
That is something that happens in production. Like it also happens accidentally every once in a while. But it was just something that stuck out to me that it's like it makes it look like Cook is like kind of, I don't know, it looks like he's in this like more tense scenario than just like having a nice conversation. It doesn't look as like cinematic and relaxing. And Cramer's in this odd position because Cramer is relaying what Wall Street is saying about Apple, but he's actually kind of steel manning the bull case. And he introduces the whole segment by saying like, I always say, Apple's not a stock you buy, it's a stock you own. Like you're supposed to own it, you're supposed to just hold on to it. It's a great company. He's super bullish. But then he's like, but I got this hedge fund guy who just sold and he thinks you guys are done. Like explain this, debate this. So he's doing, I think he's doing a good job and I like the way he frames the conversation. But we can continue. I want to get to the part where he talks about the upgrade cycle. So let's keep playing.
At a different rate, a lower rate than they did last year, but still higher than the year before. And so we had this abnormally high upgrade rate last year as people bought into the iPhone 6. And now we're comparing to that along with the other things going on that many companies are facing with currency rates and macroeconomics, et cetera. But
so basically what he's saying is like we'd been on this tear where like no one had an iPhone, and so people were just like coming on, and then there were huge leaps between iPhones. So everyone was like upgrading constantly. You go from not having 3G to having 3G, or not having a Retina screen, or for the first time you have multiple cameras. So the cameras get dramatically better. To like that kind of slowing down, and he's kind of defending that and being like, but it's going to be fine. And he actually calls out services revenue for the first time, saying like, hey, it's like a pretty good business.
Or basically a toll booth.
And it turned into just an
life.
absolute monster of a business where now he has to say like, oh, don't even talk about that. Oh, services? You want to talk about movies? Yeah, we make some movies. Anyway, continue.
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay.
So here's what I see. We're in some incredible markets. The smartphone market, eventually everyone in the world will have a smartphone. Penetration today is in the 40s. Long way to go.
Pretty crazy.
Emerging markets like India, the LTE penetration is 0. We've got great innovation in the pipeline from new iPhones.
India did not have
will incent
LTE,
you and
did not have
other
4G.
people that have iPhones today to upgrade to new iPhones.
I will need something else because I don't
will
think,
need something
but I
else.
can't think of anything else that I need.
This is good.
But we're going to give you things that you can't live without that you just don't know that you need today.
Okay.
This is great. This is great
that
because
has always been the objective.
Because Tim later he says like I don't want to like leak what we're working on, but they came out with AirPods, Apple Watch, AirPods Pro, HomePod. Like some of those were not huge, but and the Vision Pro is still early, but the AirPods and the Apple Watch like went on to like become like massive drivers of growth for Apple. But you just can't really leak it.
Versus what we know, which is that other than, say, the Netflix bill, maybe the Amazon bill, you can put things on this, whether it be my music, I've got the family plan, whether it be because I've got a lot of pictures and I do the iCloud backup, the Apple Pay. Why do people not talk about the fact that this is not a dead device? It's something that we belong to.
I think in fairness, we didn't talk about it a lot until recently, and so I take that. But as you say, services now is the second largest revenue segment at Apple. It was for last quarter. It was for the first half of the year as far as that goes. And so last quarter, we were at $6 billion, up 20%. It's a fast growing. And you look at what it is. It's things like the App Store. You go and you buy apps far after the sale. You might subscribe to Apple Music. You might use Apple Pay. You might buy songs. You might rent movies. And so it's all of these things. And
it's a toll booth for your
really
digital life.
Now, and that, of course, is based on how many people are using our devices, how many devices out there. And there's over 1 billion devices in use. This is huge.
See, because exactly, I figure when it gets to 1.5 billion, there's a number where we'll be thinking of the average use each month and the average pay to you. It's not there yet. In the interim, what defines the story would be that China's fallen off. That China, which you said in the previous quarter was going pretty good, but the beginning of this last month, of the last quarter, was not that good, has now become clouded out everything else. Right, wrong, should be, shouldn't. You've talked endlessly about China, middle classification. What's happening there, and how did it happen so fast that many didn't see it coming?
All right, here's what we see going on in China in the short term. In the short term, the iPhone upgrade rate affects all countries, including China. The great thing is the switcher rate in China is huge, 40% up over the first half of last year, the first half of this year. This is huge. So these are people switching from Android smartphones to iPhone in China. Economy, clearly not as strong as it was a year ago, softening. Currency, weakening. And so you've got a confluence of items in there, some that are Apple specific, like the upgrade thing that we talked about, some things that are more general that affect everyone. However, here's the way I look at it.
Okay.
2 years ago, we had enormous sales. And so last year we did even better, 80% better. So we grew 80% over the previous year. This year, in constant currency in mainland China, we were down 7%. So if you look at it on a 2-year basis, Apple grew 70% in China. It's hard-pressed to say those aren't good results.
Okay, I want to stay on China for a second because the first leg down in the stock last week was because your guidance. Second leg down was a man, Carl Icahn, who had been closely affiliated, talking about a no-brainer Apple, who says, look, China's an issue. Now, he sold before we knew anything about the China State Administration of Press Publication, Radio, Film, and Television blocking Apple iBooks and iTunes movies, but was concerned at least.
I was like, yeah, you can sell iPhones, but not. So then, we don't want the books.
We don't want your books.
We don't want your American books
but how about
in this
white
country.
Box? How about the fact that there is an encroachment issue at the lower end, and is that something that could have slowed Apple's sales down?
No, I think what you see in China in general is the smartphone industry isn't growing.
Okay.
There's movement between different suppliers of smartphone. But I think in the areas that we play, we're doing quite well. And in the last month, I'm thrilled at what we've seen with the iPhone SE launch that's been there. This is the phone that we just shipped that packages a whole bunch of our technology from iPhone 6S into the 4-inch form factor. And so that looks very strong. In terms of the books and movies.
It is interesting. A lot of the China issues have really just started to hit.
Totally.
In the last.
Yeah, and so it was like Icahn was like correct that there was like something happening in China, and like maybe you should read into the iBooks ban and the iTunes ban, and like
Apple is not in the top 5.
Yeah, but it took almost a decade for that narrative to actually play out. And even now, I don't think that they're like way down. I think they're just kind of flat. And so like they still have a big business there. And it's just like that thesis like didn't really play out. And I feel like Warren Buffett invested like right around this time. And so must have like seen this interview and been like, yeah, the market is wrong. The price to earnings ratio was like crazy low at this time. It was very much like this like huge stable business and
Tim was certainly right about AirPods or just net new products that people didn't even know that they would want.
Yep.
Last year, AirPods did around the same amount of revenue as Square and Cash App combined.
Wow.
So Square or Block did $24 billion.
Yeah.
AirPods did $22 billion.
That is insane. Okay, we can. I think we can wrap that up. There's a bunch more there. You can go watch the full thing. It's on YouTube. Anyway, let me tell you about Graphite.dev. Code review for the age of AI. Graphite helps teams at GitHub ship higher quality software faster. Get started for free at Graphite.dev. This is a crazy story from Eric Bergman. He says, I got scammed for $1.25 million. I feel ashamed and stupid. The story starts with me getting a phone call from Mr. Beast and Mark Rober. They asked me to donate money to Team Water to build wells in Africa and help people get clean water. I'm surprised by their call. We've met before, but haven't spoken in years. I take a few days to think. I focus on learning more about the water crisis in the world. I decided to donate $1 million. Mr. Beast gets excited about this and tweets to the world about the donation. I'm proud and excited to be part of this amazing campaign. About a week later, I get a message from Team Water on WhatsApp on my personal phone number. They are excited about the donation. They invite me on a trip with the top donors to Africa to see the wells being built and to do a few days of wildlife safari. To go to Africa and see wells has been a long time dream of his. He says he's excited to go. He immediately says yes. Then they add him to a WhatsApp group with some other top donors. Mr. Beast is in the group, Mark Rober. There's other folks. Toby Lutke from Shopify is there. Aiden Ross, the streamer, is there. He says he can't believe he's in this group. He feels like a 13-year-old boy. They're all chatting, having good banter going on. Find myself writing a message, then deleting what I wrote because I didn't feel cool enough. I write it again, then I delete it. I can't believe I'll be traveling with all these people. The conversation goes on for about a week. It's Friday. I'm heading in for a weekend trip with a bunch of my friends. I've been looking forward to this for a month. We have a packed schedule and I'm very excited. On Saturday, Jimmy writes in the chat, it's Mr. Beast, and tells us about this other opportunity. He just signed a deal with Coinbase, one of the largest crypto exchanges that will launch their own crypto coin. As part of marketing collaboration with Jimmy, he's gotten the chance to buy in early on this coin. As a thank you, he wants to extend this offer to anyone who donated over $1 million. Everything is secretive, and it's important to act fast. This is where I should have stopped. When someone needs you to act fast, it's often to get you to do something without thinking. But I didn't. Everyone in the chat gets excited about this. I know some of them are real crypto experts, and they jump on this opportunity. I don't know much about crypto, but the 13-year-old boy in me wants to belong. If they are excited, I want to be excited. I also don't want to be the only one on the trip to Africa that didn't join in on the investment. I find myself calling a crypto friend, telling him about this, and he says that if Coinbase is launching a coin and you can get early access to it, it's a sure win. I get even more excited. I'm very distracted. He doesn't want to be in his head right now. Blah blah blah. He says, let's go. Within a few hours, he sent $500,000 in crypto to a wallet that he was given over this chat. The chat's going strong. People are even more excited. Other people want in, but he's too, Eddie from Stake wants in, but he's too slow. When he asks if he can get involved after the deadline, he's told that he's too late. I read it and I can't believe a guy like that gets rejected. The next day, Jimmy writes again and says there's a new chance to invest. However, the price has gone up from $0.15 per coin from 15 cents per coin to 30 cents per coin. The maximum investment in this round is $750,000. I call my friend again. I tell him the billionaire that got rejected and how everyone else is buying in again. I'm still at the event. I'm still super distracted by other things. And we end up falling for it again, sending another $750,000. Now it's Monday. The retreat has ended and I'm heading home. I still have a good feeling about all this and I'm excited. I'm also exhausted after the weekend. Lots of experiences to process and far too little sleep. On Tuesday, Jimmy writes one more time in the chat saying this is the final chance to get it. The price is now 45 cents and everything up until now has been taken. Once again, I call my friend and we say, let's go. We're about to send the money, but this time something makes me stop for a second. Something and I see some of the details are off. I know that Aiden Ross is American, but his phone number is British. The first time since the chat started, I called Jimmy just to confirm everything, and he says, "What are you talking about?" And that's a punch to my stomach. I say, "Please say that you're kidding me," and I send him a screenshot of the chat. He looks at it and says, "Wow, I don't know what to say. Please tell me you didn't send them any money." And he says, "I sent them $1.25 million. The realization sinks in. The first phone call from a few weeks ago was the real Mr. Beast, the real Jimmy. The fundraiser for clean water was Jimmy, the real Jimmy. But the person reaching out from his team wasn't on his team. It was a scammer. He just saw the post that he had donated and said, "Hey, I'm on the team that is involved in the donation. Come into this chat. I'll set you up." And everyone in that chat was fake. And so it was all very skillfully orchestrated. All the people in the chat were fake. All the banter was fake. The trip was fake. I feel the shame inside, the regret, the sadness, anger. I've been fooled. I so deeply wanted to belong to this group. I acted way out of character. I trusted the fake Jimmy. I followed peer pressure of the billionaires and superstars. I broke many of my own principles of how to make decisions. At least there was a silver lining. He's been scammed before. It was a fortune.
The silver lining.
The silver lining is that he's been scammed before. That time he felt so ashamed. He didn't tell anyone. The shame kept haunting me. This time, the first thing I did was tell my wife. Later, I wrote to tell my parents and my brother. Then a group chat with many of my closest friends. I've gotten so much support. He's sharing the story now, and it's a pretty wild scheme to set up all these fake accounts and have someone pretending to be Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross, bro, raised $12 million for clean water, and he's drinking it all himself, crying emoji, and it's like somewhat believable in tone, and they did like these scammers really did a crazy job here. So be careful out there. One of the hottest takes on this is that this guy runs some sort of gambling company or something like that. So people are having fun with that. The fact that his business is gambling, and he clearly likes gambling, and so he took a gamble on kind of a wild investment. But
yeah, how do you run an online casino and send $1.25 million to some random address, claiming that Coinbase is going to launch a token when they already have a chain that doesn't have a token,
and they have a public stock and plenty of information.
Stock and I think this
reads as like
this feels karmic.
Yes, because it should set off red flags as like this would be insider trading if it was actually going on. Even if people I respect are insider trading from first principles, I should think like, no, I shouldn't do that. This is wrong.
He has one of his slot machines is called Le Bandit.
Le Bandit. That's the one-armed bandit. That's what the slot machine is called. When you buy, like the actual machine is called a bandit.
Your coins.
That is hilarious. Name. I didn't realize that I never put those together.
Great.com. Great domain.
Insane domain.
Funny to use it for gambling. But
yes. It's also funny to brand it as like a Swedish initiative. It's like, maybe it shouldn't be. I don't know. Like, apparently the site helps you find like the correct. What
were the comments like on this? Were people?
People were upset. People were like, "Yeah, this like they're not a fan of this guy's business." But it is a good cautionary tale, and it's a wild story.
It's very. I'm sure Eric's a nice guy, but the fact that he's advertising his online gambling website as great.com.
Yep.
A Swedish initiative.
It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy story.
It's a Swedish initiative. Online gambling.
To do what?
By Sweden.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, stay out of the trenches, stay out of the casinos. Just focus on analysis, data analysis. You should use Julius. What analysis do you want to run? Chat with your data and get expert level insights in seconds. Ask Julius to analyze your data. You pour all that information into Julius, you probably get a better result.
That's right. Or you get that new Garmin
horse tracker.
Horse tracker.
Yep.
Take that data
into Julius. Understand the long-term trends of your horse
better than anyone else.
Yes. Well, another more enjoyable thing that you can do.
extremely important. There's a new food item at Air Force football games this year, our B-2 Bomber nachos.
It's amazing.
They didn't just go with the black.
This is American innovation right here.
Yep.
This is great.
The chips are not B-2 Bomber shaped. So
they are. The chips are B-2 Bomber shaped, and the box is B-2 Bomber shaped.
This is capitalism at its best.
Oh, this is like the Air Force Academy. Like every single one of their football games will have this. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Has bubble. Crazy nominative determinative. Sorry, has
Hubble.
Hubble.
Has Hubble.
I just read it as has bubble. Has a banger here. Overheard at YC. An investor just took a call outside the hospital while his wife was giving birth and then didn't invest. This is insane levels of angel investing addiction.
Seriously.
This is like,
can you imagine?
How is this different than going to gamble?
I mean, there are some crazy stories. I heard one about an influencer who's like, the kid was like in the pool. Did you hear this story? And he was placing a bet. Very dark. Very dark. Yeah. One of my buddies is like very Sagar and Jetty is very acutely worried about the online gambling epidemic and has been tracking it very closely. And we got to have Sagar on the show and just chat about that because he has a bunch of good takes. Anyway, maybe log off, touch grass, touch the inside of the hospital when you're giving birth.
Get yourself some grass.
And maybe you get into the Series A. It's a good company. Have you heard of concentration?
Or just text and say can this wait 24 hours?
Totally. Yeah. Can it wait 24 hours? Or also just like, hey, I'm the type of person that will turn down your phone call while I am at an important family.
Every time I'm having a kid and my wife is giving birth, I won't be available.
Yes, exactly.
And you can expect that out of me for the duration of your time.
And that should be a massive green flag for wanting to work with someone. It should make you want to work with them more. It should be like, okay, you're the type of person that actually has some family values. I'm gonna sneak you in late to the deal. I'm gonna let you in on an uncapped note so you can get into the next round. I want to work with you because you actually have some like backbone. It's crazy.
I posted last year. Imagine you're 3 years old and your parents are addicted to angel investing, nonstop refreshing Carta and AngelList and cold emailing founders. Sad that many kids in SF grow up like this.
It's crazy. You were joking and it's like a real thing. It's terrible. Anyway. Let me tell you about Profound. Get your brand mentioned on ChatGPT. Reach millions of consumers who are using AI to discover new products and brands. You can get a demo. Go to Profound. This post by Steve McGuire, let's read through this. They were cracking up not simply because grades had gotten so high, but because they knew how little students were doing to earn them. Harvard faculty recognized that grade inflation has become absurd.
During their final meeting of the spring 2024 semester, after an academic year marked by controversies, infighting, and the defenestration.
That's where you're thrown out of a tower. Defenestration.
Yes.
But this is a metaphor.
Yes. Harvard's faculty burst out laughing, as was tradition. The then dean of Harvard College, Rakesh Khurana, had been providing updates on the graduating class. When he got to GPA, Khurana couldn't help but chuckle at how ludicrously high it was.
About 3.8 on average. The rest of the room soon joined in, according to a professor present at the meeting.
Everyone's just laughing.
Just like, everyone got an A+. The average was A+. I'm pretty sure 3.8 is A+, right? Like, isn't 3.5 A? 3.2 would be A-,
right.
And 3.8 would be like A+.
It's different in high school, though, right?
I don't know. I mean, like, it's supposed to be out of 4. And 3.8 is really, really close to 4. And so I would assume that I thought it would be, 4.0 is a perfect score. So it's like extremely close. And Steve gives more context here. He says, 25 years ago, Harvey C- Mansfield decided he would, quote, distribute 2 sets of grades to his students. An initial grade he thinks they deserve, and then a second grade, the one that will go on their transcript, which will be based on Harvard's systems of
what's the point?
Grades.
Really? To be
because he wants to at least give the feedback of like I'm
not saying what's the point of grade inflation at a school like Harvard, right? If 99% of the value is that you went to Harvard and got the degree, and then GPA is like tacked on as.
Well, HBS does that. HBS does grade non-disclosure, so you cannot find the grades. Like if you are hiring someone from HBS, I believe, I don't know, this was told to me by somebody who went to HBS. You can't email Harvard and say like, I want to know their grades. And so there's a whole bunch of other, like, whereas law school, I think it's like perfectly ranked. And so you just know your ranking. And so even if there's inflation, it's like we still know where you are on the curve, just very different cultures. I would imagine that in undergrad, it's more about like basically NPS. Like if it's discovered that employers are seeing that, oh, everyone that goes to Harvard is dumb because they get C's, and everyone that goes to Yale gets A's and they're smart, then it's like the buyer, the person that pays full tuition will say, well, I'm going to pay and donate and get my kids into Yale because that's where they get A's. It's like a very weird, perverse incentive, but I think that's probably a little bit of what's going on. And then there's just like immense pressure from everyone in the ecosystem, and there aren't that many people that want, fair grades or downward pressure on grades.
Well, speaking of a student of the game, Pat McAfee is set to play the role of U.S. Marine drill instructor in the Mosquito Bowl, which is directed by Peter Berg and now in production. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, 4 of America's top college football stars set their fame aside to enlist in the Marines. As they prepare for the brutal invasion of Okinawa, they'll play in a legendary game featuring some of the greatest players in history, a game that for many will be the last they ever play.
Doesn't he?
This
just
is going to be
look
crazy.
He
looks
for this role.
like
it's crazy. You see this image, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's been acting in Hollywood for 2 decades. Like I feel like I've seen him in this role before. It's amazing. Congratulations to Pat McAfee. Pat says, an honor of a lifetime. Thank you for the opportunity. It's fantastic.
This is going to be amazing.
And then his
how is he going to fit
fun.
filming into his
College Sports Only are like, need this in the film, and it's Pat laying on the ground drinking a beer. It's great. It's so funny. Anyway, if you're planning a movie, you're trying to plan everything out, get on Linear. Linear is a purpose-built tool for planning and building products. Meet the system for modern software development, streamline issues, projects, product roadmaps. Maybe your project is building a movie. Start building at Linear. The New York Times profiled Snack Shot.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Congratulations,
it's been the most
Andrea.
fulfilling year. She says, it's been the most fulfilling 5 years of her life, getting to work with the biggest food and beverages companies in the world and swaying the conversation around what we find in grocery stores. Thank you to everyone who has supported her journey.
Really amazing to watch. And this is why I love the
Absolute
internet. You can build a business obsessing over topics that one would have thought at some point that just weren't large enough to justify.
Yeah, very deep but very insightful.
And she's
so, huge impact.
Focusing on something that I think is real. She says, I like to call our generation the snacking generation. Says Andrea Hernandez, the creator of the Snack Shot newsletter and Instagram account. She knows your favorite snack before you do. Your next favorite snack before you do, says the New York Times. And she really is a snack critic. It's not all new CPG is good. She's willing to call out the silly stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need the 20th prebiotic protein creatine. Although that does sound
what was the latest thing? It's like combining protein with a psilocybin. That was it. An psilocybin gainer, mass gainer. I think that's what's on trend right now. With Snack Shot, Miss Hernandez is doing the antithesis of what I grew up doing, positioning herself less as myth buster than as cultural anthropologist. Whether prebiotic sodas are effective is less interesting to her than why everyone seems to suddenly be obsessed with them. In the 5 years since, Miss Hernandez has become, at least in certain circles, a kind of snacking Nostradamus. When Andrea covers a product or a shift, it tends to ripple within the industry. Says Melanie, the founder of non-alcoholic aperitif brand Gia, in an email noting that Miss Hernandez's observations have a way of showing up in group chats, brand conversations, and beyond. Snack Shot offers observations, analysis, and industry scoops presented breathlessly, often without punctuation. A new nicotine energy drink is evidence we have entered an era of the cocaine-induced opulence, a sharp pendulum swing from the past decade of adaptogenic and mushroom coffees. J. Crew Retail releasing limited edition pasta is just the latest example of youthful appetite for affordable affluence. And Man Cereal, which we covered here, here, packed with 2.5 grams of creatine per serving. Well, that remains to be fully deciphered. But if you think that's the craziest thing I've seen containing creatine, you'd be wrong, says Andrea. Anyway, congrats on the post. They even got, the New York Times even got BJ Novak to comment. He said, at the same time, she still operates with a modicum of anonymity. A whole swath of her followers, among them the actor and comedian BJ Novak and Ellie Sussman, the chef behind the Sussman's Instagram account, know her only through Snackshot's Instagram, where she posts a steady stream of brutally precise memes. It's a little bit for everyone, says Mr.
Precision
Hernandez.
memes.
Precision memes.
Well,
anyway,
did you see that company, Buddha Juice?
Yes, they're going public.
Going public. Buddha Juice, which makes branded and private label citrus drinks, filed on Wednesday with the SEC to raise up to $22 million in an initial public offering. Buddha Juice states that it is pioneering the ultra fresh juice category through its end-to-end cold chain platform.
Yes.
It's anyways, they have company was founded in 2013 and booked $12 million in sales for the 12 months ending June 30th, 2025. And so you don't see this.
What is this screenshot? Because this screen, like the screenshot of the financials looks like something that was made in a Microsoft Excel template. It doesn't look like a normal SEC filing. It's not a screenshot of like what I would normally, I don't know. It stuck out to me as like particularly like early stage financial aesthetics. But I don't know. Good luck to them. If they're going to get out, I wonder what's going to happen. I really have very little idea of what's involved in going public as a small cap or micro cap. I'm only familiar with the traditional IPO, the DPO, the big companies going out that way, direct listings, and then the SPAC route, which seems to always hover around $4 billion. It's like you go out at $4 billion. When you're ready to be a $4 billion company, you go out as a $4 billion SPAC. I don't know why the number settled around there, but that seems to be the kind of default price.
Growing 20%. I mean, look, John, growing 20% a year.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
$3
like
million of net income.
It seems like a fine company, but like, you know, this is probably like a $20 million business, maybe $50 million business. Like, I don't know. Like, we got to get the Ridge guys on and get the actual value.
It's very possible that retail loves the stock.
Do people love Buddha Juice? Is it a popular?
Well, I've never heard of it before, but it's just funny.
Well, they probably have to pay sales tax. So Buddha Juice, you got to get on numeralhq.com. Sales tax and autopilot. Spend less than 5 minutes per month on sales tax compliance. Let's go through.
John, they didn't put this. I don't know if this ended up in the S1, but they have 7,000 followers on Instagram.
Whoa,
that's
okay, it changes everything.
Count for something.
Do you mind you and Tyler running
They've posted once this year, by the way.
Only once? Wait, hey, that's strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, we've posted like hundreds of times. I don't think we have 7,000 yet.
Yeah, it's a barbell strategy.
I mean, one post that just does that well, that's very impressive. So congrats to the team over at Buddha Juice. We have some breaking news in the chat. XAI has sued a former employee for stealing trade secrets about Grok and taking them to OpenAI. I want to learn more about that.
The lawsuit
I also want
said
you and Tyler to talk through this chief scientist of Meta Superintelligence Labs potentially threatening to resign.
Yeah, I can give a little bit of info here. I'm just pulling it up now. XAI's lawsuit against Shushen Li says he took trade secrets in July, shortly after accepting a job from OpenAI and selling $7 million in XAI stock. Lee admitted to stealing XAI files during a meeting on August 14th. XAI later found additional stolen material on his devices that he had not disclosed. XAI asked the court for an unspecified amount of monetary damages and a restraining order blocking Lee's move to OpenAI. I'm not sure if there is much more info on this, but
yeah, this is like just breaking, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to like physically like take materials, right? Like you can imagine most of the secrets are just like, oh, it's like this new kind of like, you know, activation function or something that we use that you can just kind of like, you don't have to like actually store like a big file, I would imagine, for like training secrets, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can imagine that a lot of what he learned at XAI, he would be able to pretty quickly implement over at OpenAI. Once starting, he wouldn't actually need the files, but who knows? Sounds like if the complaint is correct, it sounds like he already admitted to doing this. So we'll see what the damages amount to, but it'll be interesting to see if he can actually, according to his profile right now, it doesn't appear that he's at OpenAI at the time. So we'll see if they're successful in blocking the move to OpenAI. But clearly, Elon is not playing around. He's happy to use the courts to further xAI's goals. There was some more reporting. Shangjia Zhao, which is the co-creator of ChatGPT, within days of starting at MSL, Meta Superintelligence Labs, threatened to quit and return to OpenAI. He actually even signed employment paperwork with OpenAI to rejoin. That's crazy.
That is very, very crazy. This is extremely dramatic, in my opinion. Tyler, what's your take? How much do we know about this particular AI researcher?
This is not a good sign for MSL. I mean, he's like the head of MSL, so he's leading the entire team.
Yeah, he was on the board when you put up the whole chart, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the head of MSL. Like, he directly to Alexander Wang.
Yeah. So do they have anything in here about his motivation? One of the few remaining big tech founder CEOs, Zuckerberg has relied upon longtime acolytes, such as Chief Product Officer Chris Cox, to head up his favored departments. But in the battle to dominate AI, the billionaire is shifting towards new and recently hired generation of executives, including Zhao, Scale AI CEO Alex Wang, and former GitHub chief Nat Friedman. There's a lot of big men on campus, said one investor who's close to some of new Meta's
Let's
new
give it
AI
up for
leaders.
big men on campus.
I love it. It is a campus. Adding to the tumult, a handful of new staff have already decided to leave after brief tenures. Like, what could you have possibly learned in like a month?
By the way,
crazy.
We spend so much time on the show that in normal, everyday conversations that I have off air, when someone says something like, there's a lot of big men on campus, my immediate reaction is in the actual conversation. Let's give it up.
Let's give it up for bringing your work everywhere and randomly clapping when you're interacting with people.
It really adds to the conversation.
Okay, so he said that while Rishabh Agarwal, a research scientist who started at Meta in April, announced his departure in a tweet on X on Wednesday. He said that while Zuckerberg and Wang's pitch was incredibly compelling, he felt the pull to take on a different kind of...
I mean, this just sounds like he's starting a company.
Well, so that researcher was never in MSL.
Okay.
He was just, I think he was, I don't
Stolen
know if he was
valor.
So he's like, they wanted me, but like, you know...
You guys are incredibly compelling, but, and I know you
I just got to go a different direction.
Asked me to join the team, but I'm gonna take my talents somewhere else.
We're actually good.
We never.
Yeah, he was on. I think I don't know exactly if it was Fair or just like Meta AI team.
Yeah,
but I don't think the MSL team was like even really there when he was during his tenure.
Yeah, it is such a funny dynamic because like MSL is like the hot new thing, but like at the same time, like you could wind up being at a different org, not like the new hot thing, and actually have like a huge impact and have a great career and like really enjoy it and be comped well. And so it's got to be a whole bunch of like, you know, odd dynamics back and forth. I don't think they got anything about this motivation. This is just purely like, you know, some leaked like, you know.
This is one Meta research scientist, Mimansa Jaiswal, said, "One more reorg and everything will be fixed." Just one more.
He said that. That's hilarious.
He said that on X.
Yeah. Wow.
I think like
it's good to have a little fun with it.
The only possible reasoning I can imagine is like the promise to join Meta was basically that like you're gonna have a ton of free compute, you can work on whatever you want.
Yep.
And then you get there, and then Zuck or Alexander Wang is just kind of like, oh, actually, we're gonna do, you know, Instagram companions. Like you have to work on this like random project that.
It feels like, I don't know.
Or you have to work on ads or something.
I mean, even the Instagram companions, like even if you want to tell that story of like, oh, like, yeah, stepmom and cow or whatever, like that doesn't feel like an MSL project. That doesn't feel like, oh yeah, they built a team, they launched something.
Yeah, the
idea
that
that chat with a celebrity thing, that's been going on for like a year.
Yeah, and the idea that he would, you know, have this maxed out offer to some cracked researcher and then say like, get ready to work on the ads product. Like that that doesn't seem like what you would immediately put somebody like.
No, it feels like don't work on any product. Work on the foundational research. Build the amazing model. Get us to the frontier.
I think it could also be like, imagine like, okay, you give these massive offers to a ton of people.
Yeah.
You can probably expect some of them are going to be like, okay, I just made like $1 billion. I'm not going to work that hard. And then the rest of them are just like, well, the team is like only really half into it. I'll just go back to OpenAI where everyone is like actually grinding. Like they have this vision of AGI.
Yeah.
Everyone is super driven. Even though here I might make a little bit more money.
Yeah.
You know, something like that.
At the same time, like just the idea of like being on any sort of implementation, I just would be shocked if any of that's left up to MSL. It feels like their job is to build like basically an incredible AI API that can be vended into every single product team at Meta. And so like if you're on the ads team, you're like, cool, we're going to get a new capability. Like, we're going to get better AI researchers. But it's not like the AI researchers can be like now in charge of ads. I don't know. Anyway, what's that?
Financial Times says multiple company insiders describe Zuck as deeply invested and involved in the TBD team.
Yep.
While others criticize him for micromanaging, saying that
can't win.
Being surprised that Zuck is going to micromanage something that he's investing tens of billions of dollars in.
Yeah.
Seems silly. Wang and Zuckerberg have struggled to align on a timeline to achieve the CEO's goal of reaching superintelligence for AI that surpasses human capabilities, according to another person familiar with the matter. Obviously, this is going to be a debate. It's like, how do we move as fast as possible, but at the same time, what's realistic?
Yeah.
Meta said this allegation was, quote, manufactured tension without basis in fact that's clearly being pushed by dramatic navel-gazing busybodies.
That's amazing. I think that's the real line. I think that's the real story here. Like someone went to the press with like a very salacious headline that's like sort of ridiculous and doesn't really have a solid narrative.
Meta also said while TBD Labs is still relatively new, we believe it has the greatest compute per researcher in the industry, and that will only increase.
That's fun. That's cool.
Love that.
Instead of chatting with the cow, chat with an AI agent for customer service. Go to fin.ai. #1 in performance benchmarks, #1 in competitive bake-offs, #1 ranking on G2 at fin.ai. Let's go over to Doge Designer. He has a video of SpaceX landing. He says this isn't CGI. We'll be the real judges of whether or not it's CGI, Doge Designer. Let's play the video of Starship coming down and landing. What do you think, Jordy? Real or CGI? Maybe it's not CGI. It's generative AI. It's Nano Banana. It's Grok 5. No, this is incredible. Obviously, this is the higher res video from that camera that was live streed. And
wait for the explosion.
Wait
for the explosion.
You think they're gonna fade to black beforehand? Wait. A fade to black. Fade to black is technically a computer generated image. Right? Because you are taking the frames of the video and you are adding an opacity. You're adding a black layer. What do you think?
Can't you do a fade like practically?
Yes, but do you think that was practical fade? Do you think that
it could have been on film? Yeah.
You think they had a neutral density filter that they were rotating over the lens at that exact moment?
On the kiddie pool,
or do you think that was done in post using computer generated imagery? I'm calling CGI, not on the rocket landing, but on the fade. I think the fade is CGI.
I think you called it.
I think the fade to black, that looks like CGI.
Let's pull up this video of the liftoff.
Yeah. Let's see the liftoff. This is the real tinfoil hat.
Ahi in the chat says clearly VO3.
Yes, VO3 could pull it off. I would love to see if somebody tried to generate that in VO3, what it would look like. Anyway, let's look at the liftoff of Super Heavy, the most powerful launch vehicle in history on Starship's 10th flight. I believe this is slowed down, right? I think this is a slowed down video, but it is incredible. So the first question is like, how are they filming this? You would immediately imagine that the camera would melt. Apparently, they're using a high-speed Phantom camera in custom water-cooled, nitrogen-purged housings. They use sapphire windows and protective enclosures to survive the extreme heat from Super Heavy's Raptor engines. Either that or Photoshop, one of the two. Just kidding. It is remarkable.
Sapphire and really strong air conditioning.
Basically, yeah. Well, water cooling, like an 8 Sleep. 8sleep.com. Get a Pod 5, 5-year warranty. 30 night risk-free trial. Free returns.
I got a little cocky last night.
Yeah, how'd you do?
I had so many good nights of sleep this week.
Yeah. Look at Jordy's drip. The chat loves the outfit. They're really happy. 8 sleep. How did I do? I was up late last night. I got an 84.
Got a 93 Monday, 86 Tuesday, 84 Wednesday, 68 Thursday.
Thursday I got a 95. I did great. What about yesterday? Last night I got an 84. What'd you get?
68.
Hit that soundboard for me. I think it's a clean sweep this week.
Wait, what did you get on? What did you get Monday night?
Monday night? I don't know. Let me check. Monday,
Can't say.
Monday night an 83.
93.
Oh, okay, you beat me then. So not a clean sweep, but I think I won best of 5. Anyway, there is a battle. The timeline's in turmoil over a partnership between Cloudflare and BrowserBase. Paul Klein, who's been on the show a few times, says, today we're announcing an unlikely partnership. We believe that agents need reliable, responsible web access. That's why we're partnering with Cloudflare in support of web bot auth and signed agents, a new standard to allow good bots to authenticate themselves. Here are the details. And Varunam Ganesh says, I get why BrowserBase is doing this, but if Perplexity doesn't step up, we'll be in a world where, for no reason, Cloudflare gatekeeps the entire internet and dictates how agent-to-agent interaction will evolve in the next few years.
What's Perplexity's role in all this?
I don't know. Maybe Perplexity has the ability to get around Cloudflare's user agent blocking. I don't know. I mean, I know Google has the ability to get around Cloudflare's user agent blocking because they have 2 bots. One is the Google bot that scrapes and indexes your website, and the other one is the Gemini bot. And you can turn off the Gemini bot, but you can't turn off the Google bot without not showing up in search rankings. So like they're going to get your data and you're going to show up in the AI search review, like the AI overviews. Maybe Perplexity is building something similar where it's like the option. Perplexity has the leverage over Cloudflare potentially because if you're using Perplexity and Perplexity says, look, if you don't let agents interact with your website, we won't show you in Perplexity at all. I guess that might be a theory. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gary Tan's not happy with it. He says the Cloudflare browser base axis of evil was not on my bingo card for 2025. Legalize AI agents. And Paul Klein quote tweets it and says, good morning from the axis of evil. And they're all wearing bucket hats, having fun on the timeline. I don't know how axis of evil this is. I mean, I guess people are unhappy with the Cloudflare thing. I mean, it is just a default. People can go, like if you want to legalize an AI agent coming to your website, like even if you use Cloudflare, you can go turn that on. But the main thing is that by default, Cloudflare blocks AI agents. So you have to go and configure it, but you can. Yeah. I don't know how disruptive it is for Cloudflare. They don't control 100% of the internet. And then also there are plenty of other companies that are being probably way more proactive about blocking AI agents. And really it's a Cold War because, the company says, oh, we don't want, to be disintermediated by, an AI company. And then the AI company is like, well, we're going to go and build an RL environment with verifiable reward and be able to get over your CAPTCHAs. And when you watch ChatGPT in agent mode, it's often like, oh, I hit a CAPTCHA. I'm going to try a different browser now. It just did that for me yesterday. Tyler, what you got?
Yeah, you can also, you can kind of always get around these things. It's like there's the meme of the Chad web scraper versus the Virgin API user.
Yeah.
Where it's you can kind of always just
the front end is the API. Is commonly what's said.
I don't know. I think it's not a massive deal.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to keep tracking it. It doesn't seem like it's too much of a fight just yet, but we'll keep monitoring. Anyway, ADIO, customer relationship magic. ADIO is the AI native CRM that builds, scales, and grows your company to the next level. Get started.
Coterie, according to Drew Fallon, Coterie nearing deal to be acquired by Mammoth Brands for $650 million. Reuters reported that Mammoth Brands, owner of brands like Harry's and Flamingo, is nearing an acquisition of the baby care diaper brand. Coterie is reportedly doing over $200 million in revenue with $50 million in EBITDA. A $650 million price tag would represent 3 and a quarter times revenue and 13x EBITDA. I remember when Coterie launched, and it was long before I had children.
Yeah.
And I thought, is this that great of a business? You sign you get a customer, and then they use diapers for a little bit, and then they're going to churn because they learn how to use the potty.
Yep.
And then I realized I've spent like thousands and thousands of dollars with Coterie. They probably who knows what our family's CAC was early on, but it seems like a fantastic business. And they're always they're like we've been on a subscription I think for years now, and we run out and then we go to Whole Foods and they're out. Like it just seems like this infinite demand for the products they make. So
I wonder how big the actual market is for diapers, because that seems like the cap is that like you actually can't get a user for life. Kids do grow out of them eventually, but it seems like the business is certainly solid. What's interesting is, are you familiar with Mammoth Brands? Are you familiar with where that came from? So Harry's, you know the story of Harry's, right?
Yeah.
So Harry's, D2C shaving company, they launch with this massive fundraising round. They buy their supplier. They buy a razor blade manufacturing company. The razor blade and shaving industry was highly oligopolistic and very hard to break into because there were only a few companies that owned basically everything. I think it was a Unilever and Gillette, and there were a few others that had vast majority ownership. And so Harry's figures out that if they want to break in, they got to buy the manufacturer. They do that. They scale. I believe they tried to sell the company and they got blocked.
Yeah.
And then they were thinking about IPOing or something, but they just rebranded.
Is this going to be another antitrust victory where they end up getting blocked and then
maybe.
I mean, the thing I like about this acquisition is Mammoth. Like, it feels like if Mammoth just executes for 20 years and starts like acquiring the breakout brands instead of P&G, they'll actually be a real new consumer conglomerate.
And there's something sort of maybe differentiated about. So Harry's rebranded as Mammoth Brands. Like, it's not like Harry's sold to some sort of roll up holdco. They just became
the parent company. Still Harry's.
No. The parent company now is no longer Harry's. It is Mammoth Brands.
I know, but Harry's is what they sell products.
Yes, Harry's sells products, but then they also own Flamingo, and then they're going to buy Coterie. And Harry's, like the team at Harry's, the owners of Harry's, have become like this holdco. And so instead of trying to spin up new D2C products and try and become like launching new things, they're actually just going out and using the cash from the business that's working to acquire new stuff. Saying if we can't sell, we're going to buy. This is basically the takeaway.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was my
interesting data point here. So Align Ventures led a $23 million Series A in Coterie in 2022. Align is the venture fund that was meant to lead Figure AI's round at a $39.5 billion valuation.
Wow.
So Align had invested, I think, previously in Figure AI. And so when the news broke that Figure AI is in talks to raise $1.5 billion at 15 times its last valuation, everyone's like, okay, who's leading? And it's like, okay, it's this like CPG fund.
Yeah. That's interesting. That feels not that Align Ventures. That doesn't feel particularly aligned. It feels misaligned to invest in both babies that wear diapers, new human labor, and then robots that don't wear diapers, new robotic labor. Those two things are actually at odds.
What if the Figure robots have diapers back here that they can pull out,
and then they can diaper the babies? It's a beautiful symbiosis.
How much would people pay to not have to change a diaper again?
Potentially billions. Potentially billions.
Jeff Dean made the Time AI 100
hit
list.
The soundboard for Jeff Dean. One of the greatest to ever do it. Congrats to Jeff Dean. We got a whole bunch
finally
more
is going to pat himself on the back and think, I'm good at AI now.
Somehow
I actually might be decent at this stuff. I made the Time AI 100.
Yes. And I saw in the chat, I didn't verify this, but somebody said that Google is hitting all-time highs. Congrats to everyone at Google, including Jeff Dean. If you're looking to go long or short Google, do it on public.com. Investing for those that take it seriously. They got multi-asset investing, industry-leading yields, and trusted by millions.
Dave Grampel in the action chat says TLDR diaper LTV industry sources confirm the average spend per U.S. child over their diaper using years is between $1,800 and $2,100. That makes sense. That tracks.
Yep.
And with Coterie, you get to spend even more. they're clean.
Yeah.
No microplastics or something.
Tyler, would you mind pulling up the Time AI 100 list, putting it in the truth zone? Let me know
See how it tracks with the Metis list.
Who didn't get on? Did they include Sholto? Did they include?
Wait, Ilya has a new profile picture.
Yeah.
We might need to update the Metis list because it's great.
Oh,
picture.
for sure. Okay, so anyway, Tyler, dig into the Time AI 100 list. I want to know who sticks out to you, who's interesting. In the meantime, let's go over to Mechanize. They said, we built a Twitter vibes engine for AI labs. Evals are important, but the vibes are hard to fake. And it's the vibes for OpenAI and Anthropic over time. And you can see Anthropic had great vibes throughout 2024. Then the vibes started dipping a little bit. After 3.7 Sonnet, they were on a high, and then they went negative net sentiment score, and then have been climbing back up. Anthropic's about even. OpenAI has been lagging a little bit. And the vibes seem to be flipping back and forth between the two. Very, very interesting analysis. Of course, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's just a bunch of scraped posts and then run through sentiment analysis. We, of course, love looking at the Polymarket best AI model and seeing who's tracking there, the vibes. Google is running away with it. They're now at 71% by the end of the year, predicted to have the best AI model, and they seem to be chopping wood over there. The vibes are getting better too. I saw Logan posted an interview with the team behind Nano Banana. They're getting good with the naming, and Nano Banana, major reversal from some of the earlier Google AI image projects, which were kind of hated on for a variety of reasons. This just feels like it's a very useful tool. I was playing around with it. Some amazing results where the generated output looked so much like the input that I couldn't even tell if it was doing generation. It was actually just like, did it change anything? Had a few errors where I was trying to get it to swap outfits from one person to the next, and it wouldn't. It was getting confused, or it just wasn't doing it. It was sending me back the same image that I put in, basically. But you had some luck with it. You were trying to turn yourself into a centaur or something. Yeah. That was kind of a bizarre outcome, but I've seen some good ones. Tyler, have you been having fun with Nano Banana?
Yeah, mostly I've just done change the outfit or something.
Yep.
It works perfectly fine.
Oh,
but I did try making myself look more jacked, and it didn't work. I think I was already max jacked or something.
TJ Krasinski says takes longer than GPT-5, but does better at turning people into Chads.
Does better. Interesting.
Maybe my prompt was just wrong then.
Yeah. So let me show you. I think it's interestingly particularly good at posting. Let me see if this works. So did I post this? I'm putting this in the chat. It's I took a one of these trade deal alerts, kind of like the meme formats that we would normally do in Photoshop. And I fed it an image of Ilya and the logo and just asked it to kind of recreate the same image. And if we can pull up the ESPN one, there's an alert for the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are trading for Micah Parsons. And you have an image of the football player on the left. You can see this, and then alert, and then the logo. And then the other image is from Ilya Sutskever, changes his profile photo, and I put the corporate logo there. And look at this, looks like it came from Photoshop, but this was actually just a Nano Banana prompt. And I guess it's it kind of re-rendered his face. It's probably not 100% perfect, but in terms of just and
they watermarked it.
Yeah. The watermark is weird because the watermark in this image it just says sports. It's not it's like a random hallucination of a watermark. So in terms of just like take some images and make the meme, it can now do that very, very reliably, which is just kind of a new unlock. And we were talking, Tyler, about the Nano Banana ChatGPT moment. And I feel like I'm starting to see that on the timeline with people posting, take Sam Altman's face and put him at this pose on this
like
background.
ballerina.
Yeah, the ballerina one. You saw that, and I feel like that's kind of the meme. Is like make a super photoreal image of this person doing this funny thing in this funny place, and it requires a lot of creativity to come up with a good concept. But once you do, it can instantiate something that's photoreal like extremely quickly. So very cool.
Yeah, I mean that's what we kind of talked about. It's like the consistency is like vastly better, so you can actually do like photorealistic stuff now.
Yeah, I think it's at a point where it's good enough to put on a billboard. If you have an out-of-home advertising campaign idea, generate in a Nano Banana, and then head on over to adquick.com. Out-of-home advertising.
This ad is brought to you by Diet Coke.
By Easy and Measurable. Say goodbye to the headaches of out-of-home advertising. Only AdQuick combines technology, out-of-home expertise, and data to enable seamless, efficient ad buying across the globe. We were debating whether or not we should do a Cheeky Rack and react to Cheeky Pint, the podcast hosted by John Collison at Stripe, where we
Cheeky Rack would of course be where John and I drink a 30 rack during an episode of Cheeky Pint.
Three hours of John Collison interviewing founders while drinking. He drinks 1 Guinness. We would drink 30. Light beers, but there was some debate over how much he was drinking, and so obviously the gauntlet has been thrown down. Is any podcaster capable of drinking a 30 rack within the context of one podcast? But I think we just solved how bad that would be, because even a single Diet Coke still makes me incapable of doing a clean show. Anyway, Forbes is undefeated, says Rob Freund.
Yeah, do you remember this company IRL?
Oh, I remember.
They got marked up to $1 billion in
Yes.
2021.
Yes.
Of course, led by none other than SoftBank.
Interesting.
At the time when I saw this round,
yes,
I didn't know a single person that was using it.
Yeah.
But I also just realized that people still use Snapchat, because the younger guns on our team use Snapchat.
Yep.
And I don't know anybody. I didn't think I knew anybody that still used Snapchat.
Yep, it's out there.
But it's out there. It's real. So I wasn't quite.
And there are
I thought
these
maybe it was real,
social
but
networks that pop up from time to time, the anonymous social networks. There's always something new. And if you're not really tapped in, you can miss them. So the narrative around IRL was, if you're not using it, maybe you just missed it.
Yeah, or maybe you're not in the.
But I remember the timeline kind of turning on them as they raised more and more money, and more people started saying,
well, and it was,
wait, does anyone know anyone who uses this product?
Well, yeah, and it was employees that were also wondering.
Yes.
Do people actually use this product?
Yes. So the allegations were that they were cooking the books, and it was a rough go. And now a federal grand jury returned an indictment charge of a Hawaii man with wire fraud, securities fraud, and obstruction.
Well, I think that's the founder.
The founder.
Yeah, apparently 95% of their 20 million users were fake automated bots.
Wow.
And the actual number of human users was around.
Yeah, what's so interesting is
1 million.
like Reddit started as a platform that was seeded with fake users. But I think that from an early
It was also
day,
Alexis just
yeah.
using a
Yeah.
to
So it was
seed,
actually just
and
humans.
it's very different if he was telling. I'm sure at the time he was telling investors like, yeah, we're trying to kind of kickstart this network, so we are using the product ourselves.
Yep.
And he wasn't necessarily saying, we have millions and millions of
Yeah, totally. It makes a ton of sense to have like some sort of flywheel early on, and but you have to disclose that, and it's wire fraud if you don't make it clear.
Yeah.
And so if Alexis Ohanian had gone to investors and said like, yeah, look at all the usage, it's all real, instead of being like, no, like we're seeding it.
Yeah.
Like don't value us on the basis of our MAUs yet. Value us on the promise of what this platform can do. And I'm sure the first round was like $5 million or something like that, like super low, not $175 million going in this crazy company that had a lot of fake users.
Yeah. So
anyway,
sad story.
What should we talk about next? Should we talk about Bezel? Go to getbezel.com. Your Bezel concierge is available now to source you any watch on the planet. Seriously, any watch.
Blind boxes, Quaid.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, do them. It's easy money. Just make it happen. It's the only.
Time.
It's the end of the.
We would just be hitting that button
Yes.
over and over and over on the
Yes.
show.
Should we talk about the $25 million home that's listed in the mansion section?
Isn't there another article here in the Journal about Lovable?
No, that one is in the Financial Times.
Okay.
So in the Financial Times,
this is crazy.
Page 6 in the Financial Times, AI startup nears $4 billion valuation. Swedish vibe coding startup Lovable is fielding inbound investment offers.
It's a Swedish initiative.
Valuing company. I mean, I like the company a lot more than that gambling company for sure. We talked to the founder; he's a nice guy. Swedish vibe coding startup Lovable is fielding in inbound investment offers valuing the company above $4 billion, more than double the price at which it raised funding just weeks ago. So that's like the rare double tap. We saw this with, Ramp did this. There are a number of companies if you're on fire and all the metrics are up and to the right and there's more and more demand for your stock, it's not the craziest thing to sell one tranche at one valuation and then go back out to the market and do the second tranche at the next valuation. So Lovable was valued at $1.8 billion in a deal by Excel in mid-July, cementing its position as one of Europe's hottest AI companies. Now, this is one of those things where did Excel do that deal 3 months ago? And it just released now, and then we're getting leaked information about a new deal happening.
Is it early talks? Is it advanced talks? Or
exactly.
Is it saying that the deal was actually done. The question.
But in February, they just raised $15 million. So that is a big jump up, going from $15 million raised to $200 million raised in something like 6 months. The company is on fire, apparently. People with knowledge of the new investment approaches said that Lovable's chief executive Anton Osika was not engaging with investors on the latest proposals, but he was weighing fundraising options for the coming months. So again, we're talking, going forward.
Jason Turner in the chat says Lovable is the ish. I have 15 prototypes. Yeah. Do you have any production products though?
Yes, planned for production.
Because the big question around Lovable is clearly they've caught fire with the product. People love it, but what is ARR, great metrics?
Let's ARR crossed 100 million just 8 months after crossing the $1 million threshold. That's a huge ramp to do 2 orders of magnitude in 8 months. You can see why VCs are piling in on the momentum, and that more than 10 million projects had been built on the platform. So if it's 15 per person, that's pretty crazy. However, it is yet to demonstrate that it can generate a consistent profit amid questions from some investors about whether AI coding tools can make a margin in a highly competitive market. So,
this beautiful
everyone.
On the back of the
what we got? Louis Vuitton looks nice. Love it.
Very nice.
You should
print ads. It's the new meta.
Yeah. So the trick is I think that reporting suggested that for free projects, they're definitely losing money because they have to use reasoning models. They generate a ton of tokens. Inference is pretty expensive. And so if you go to let's zoom out to website creator tools, if they're for free and you're just generating a bunch of them, you're probably losing money on inference because you don't own the GPUs, you don't own the foundation model. You're paying pretty high inference and you've got to use the best to be competitive. But the light at the end of the tunnel is that you get someone who stands up a website and then they use that as their front end to their business or their restaurant for a decade, and people stick around. And so that's the pitch for everyone from Weebly to Squarespace to there's a whole bunch of these companies that have all done. And what's weird about those companies is that they've all done very well. I've seen tons of Squarespace ads on YouTube for a long time. I've seen a bunch of those website builders, and this is kind of the next generation of them. And if you can get someone to build a website that they get value from and they don't want to re-platform from, and the hosting cost is zero marginal cost, even if there is a non-zero marginal cost like onboarding process, which is the generation of the website, you can imagine that most people would spend a ton of tokens generating the first version of their website and then be like, yeah, I'm good for like a year. My business is basically the same.
Yeah.
They're not hammering it with prompts every single day. So there is a way where the math can math out. And I feel like that's probably what the VCs who are underwriting Excel. And we just talked to the Framer guys yesterday. It's a kind of similar business model. Get someone to build a website. Maybe it's expensive up front, but if they stick around for a long time, you can be reaping a reward.
Yeah, when Anton was on the show, he was saying they're clearly fixated on enterprise, and that will be an important market for them.
That's very interesting.
And I don't think it's the market that they're dominating in. Right?
No, I know them as like particularly good at like go viral on social media for like build an app in a second, and then people go and build a bunch of stuff. My weird like question about all the next generation site builders.
Obviously, I'm biased here as a Figma power user for a decade, and obviously they're a partner of ours. But Figma is just so dominant in the enterprise, and people love Figma Make, right?
Yeah.
And so they have Lovable's, I think, gonna struggle in the enterprise.
So this comment in the chat from Paraclete says, I'd imagine Lovable customers will have high churn and not stay long because it's for starting and not finishing ideas, and you won't be finishing them as final web products. And that is like the second act that I think Lovable customers stay for a few months, whereas a real platform like Webflow has lifetime customers. And I think that that's probably the second act that all the VCs are betting on. They're saying, you've filled the top of funnel, you've gotten people to show up long enough to actually build and deploy a website. Can you charge them $20 a month forever? Can you charge them $100 a month for 10 years? Which is certainly the story of Webflow and the other site builders.
Yeah.
So
Squarespace, if you remember, their site builder did $1 billion in 2023.
$1 billion in revenue.
Yes.
Okay.
But was taken private at $7 billion last year.
Okay. And Lovable's at $4 billion on $100 million in sales.
I'm sure they're well beyond.
Yeah, they must be well beyond $100 million
run
now.
rate.
Yeah.
But as one knows.
It's fascinating. Well, anyway.
Kyla Scanlon has an essay around how do workers actually feel about AI.
Yeah, she did a
survey.
surveyed
1,200 people across various industries with the main goal of learning what they actually wanted from AI. The results show a workforce that isn't really blindly optimistic or totally resistant, but negotiating a rather messy middle. Makes sense. Workers hope AI will take over repetitive tasks and boost efficiency, but they worry it could erode career opportunities and work quality. Trust is fragile too. Most people somewhat trust their employers on AI, while some industries lean heavily toward no trust. The biggest ask was training and a seat at the table. 62% want shared decision-making and how AI is implemented. But overall, this wasn't really about job loss worries. It was about why we work and what makes work meaningful. The policy asks weren't about banning AI. It was about training, transparency, and actual input in implementation decisions. It was about preserving the human parts of work. And that makes sense as AI is making us reckon with what it means to be human in a way that not many of us have ever had to do. One of the human parts of work that I think will endure for a long time is power lunches, right? And
throwing a couple back. Having a couple cheeky pints.
A couple cheeky pints.
Cheeky boot.
A cheeky boot.
Chugging out of the beer boot is the way to do it, for sure.
A cheeky round of shots.
Yeah.
At lunchtime.
Yeah,
with your team.
What are the other takeaways from her article? In the executive summary, she says 85% of people are familiar with AI, but even among the very familiar, more than a quarter don't use AI at all. Workers want AI to take over the boring parts of their job.
The 15% of people she surveyed just being like, AI? No.
What are you talking
familiar.
about? I
haven't heard about it.
62% want shared decision making and how AI is implemented at work. 15% want full authority. Fewer than 2% are comfortable with no input. There's a trust paradox. Most people somewhat trust their employers on AI, but in many industries, a majority report no trust. No industry reached a majority of complete trust. Only 60% of respondents have received training, with especially low rates in creative industries and entertainment. That's interesting. I would think creative industries, like you definitely want to push the creative tools. You'd want to have training on Nano Banana, but maybe you just want to turn your folks loose and let your teams know, if you're in a creative industry, like just go figure it out yourself. The AI tools are out there, so maybe you don't need formal training. Anyway, there is a beautiful house available in Alpine, New Jersey.
Pull it up.
We got to pull this up. Eli Tahari, co-founder, lists European-inspired New Jersey home, and these photos are. I think you got the wrong one pulled up. I think that might be 50 Cent's house, which we can do next. Arvam Tahari, co-founder of New York-based fashion brand Eli Tahari, is listing his property in the affluent suburb of Alpine, New Jersey for $24.75 million. His roughly 21,000 square foot home was completed around 2016 with a slate roof and a backyard landscape that reminds him of the south of France. And look at that car, Jordy. Can you ID that?
It's Countach.
It's a Lamborghini Countach in red. I love it.
It looks fantastic in red.
It fits in with that. Doesn't it belong there?
You see it in white so often.
Yes, you see it in white a lot, of course, in the Wolf of Wall Street. It has 8 bedrooms, indoor and outdoor pools. You got to be having multiple pools these days. He bought the 2-acre property 15 years ago for $4.25 million. The previous owner had built the foundation and then stopped. They finished the job. The home has 8 bedrooms, a mosaic-tiled indoor pool, and an outdoor pool with cabanas. Walls were hand-plastered and stenciled by an artist from Portugal. The Taharis raised their 3 children there and had many parties, including a white party and a friend's engagement party for about 150 people. I hate to move from here, he said, but they have children, and they decided to move out. They plan to spend more time in Florida. Located across the river from New York City, Alpine is a borough of Bergen County. Homes there sell for millions of dollars and often span over 15,000 square feet, according to Serhant. Oh, Serhant.
Nice.
Who lists the home is under contract with a 22.49 million listing price. So go pick that up. There are a few other stories in here that we should cover. In a bunker, no one can hear you scream. The question that the mansion section asked real estate brokers is, have you ever encountered a secret room or bunker in a house you've listed or sold? And Scott Bayens, a real estate broker at Aspen Snowmass Sotheby's International, says,
wouldn't you want to know about the secret bunkers in the houses I've sold? The whole point, if it's truly a secret bunker, it shouldn't be on the listing.
Yes.
Right?
So in May, this particular broker listed a property in Aspen for $15.95 million that has 2 structures on it. One of the structures is a contemporary home with 3 bedrooms, and the other is a detached 3-car garage with a 1-bedroom pied-à-terre above. Below the garage, and accessed via a hydraulic door that leads to a hidden stairway, is what we call the Smuggler's Den Speakeasy, which includes a lounge and bar, LED lights like a high-end dance club, a fireplace, a TV, a sound system, a powder room, a photo booth, and a reverse car lift, which allows you to pull your collector vehicle into an elevator and transport it down into the speakeasy, where it's on display behind glass. Right now, there's a classic motorcycle, a drum set, and a disco ball to provide a little something for everyone. The owner who built the speakeasy was one of the founders of a well-known, nationally franchised chain of restaurants, so he has hospitality in his blood and a love for a good bar and a well-crafted cocktail. Since he was active on the Aspen social scene, he conceived of a truly unique space designed to surprise and amaze everyone lucky enough to get an invite. When showing the house, we always save the speakeasy for last and enjoy seeing prospective buyers' mouths drop. It's a very specific listing with a feature that cannot be replicated, and I know there's a buyer out there who will love it. Let's go on to Renee Roberts, who says, in September 2018, I met with the owner of a 5-bedroom contemporary Cape-style home in Canton, about a half hour south of Boston, and it had a lot of desirable features. It had a 1-acre private lot, a grand foyer, a large eat-in kitchen, and a wooden stove with high-end appliances. The owner, an older gentleman, wanted a market analysis. I didn't know him. As we were touring the house, we got to the basement, where I learned that the house had 2 hidden soundproof concrete bunkers. The bunkers didn't have any technology, cameras, or food storage, but there were electrical outlets and air exchange systems in both of them. Both of the bunkers were accessible from secret doors located inside the basement. As the owner showed me the basement, my heart sank a little bit because I was in the house alone with a stranger, and nobody knew I was there. When he opened the door to one of the bunkers and invited me to see it, everything in my body was saying not to go in. But he was excited to show it to me, and I was curious, so I went in to peek around. But then our tour took a chilling turn when he closed the heavy steel door, the kind that banks use for their vaults, to show me how soundproof the bunker was. I started to get anxious, but after a minute or so, he opened the door, which had a keypad, and when we left the space, when he showed me the second bunker, I didn't go in. It definitely made for one of the most scary and unforgettable listing appointments of my career. Ever since that day, when I go to a listing appointment, I tell everyone and give them the address of where I'm going to be going. This guy was just excited, just like nerding out about his silly bunkers and scared the living daylights out of his.
You're scaring the realtors.
In other news, 50 Cent's former estate has hit the market. Look at this thing. 51,000 square feet. It has a nightclub. It has a recording studio. It has 2 pools.
Remove 1,000 square feet.
He really should have. He should have remodeled and taken 1,000 feet off. So a tricked out Connecticut estate once owned by both rapper 50 Cent and famed boxer Mike Tyson is listing for $9.9 million. And Jordy, tell me, I feel like we could move the entire crew here, and this might be a solve for everything. Look at this. It has 19 bedrooms. That's more than we all have combined, for sure. It's 51,000 square feet. I'm probably more than we have now. The suburban home in Farmington is in central Connecticut, about halfway between Boston and New York. You can get back and forth to either. The 17.6 acre estate has a recording studio where 50 Cent said he recorded the 2005 album The Massacre. Tyson, who paid about $3 million for the property in 1996, sold it to 50 Cent for $4.1 million in 2003. Not that much of an appreciation in 9 years. The rapper bought it as a real estate investment following a lucrative tour, he said on $1 Million Listing New York. The current sellers are food and beverage investor Casey Asghar and his wife Shira Asghar, who purchased the home from 50 Cent in 2019 for $2.9 million, about 84% less than what was first sought in 2007. So 50 Cent went out to market trying to sell it for like $12 million and only got 2.9. It's crazy. For a 51,000 square foot house, 2.9 million. That's like in LA, that's like a normal house. It's crazy.
2-bedroom.
Yeah. The property underwent several price cuts and was listed by various agencies until the Asghars purchased it. They live primarily in Florida and own Dunkin' Donuts franchises, pizza places, and chicken restaurants around the country. Another example of owning a bunch of franchises. They spend summers and holidays at the Farmington house with their 7 children. Wow, 7 children. What a flex. Tyson's former ownership was an added incentive, said Casey, who had been a fan since childhood. The Asghars renovated the circa 1985 house, investing more than $3 million over the course of their ownership. After buying the house, they installed the cigar lounge and upgraded the commercial kitchen. The Asghars also redid the indoor pool and spa, which has a steam room, red light therapy sauna, showers, a massage area, and a hair salon. The nightclub called Club TKO, a reference to the boxing term technical knockouts, was installed by Tyson. The Asghars used the space as an event venue for parties and company retreats. Recently, they hosted a surprise party there for Shira's parents' 50th anniversary. It was the best family gathering they've ever had in their life, and that property made that happen. The Asghars are selling because they don't anticipate using the house as much now that their children are grown. So if you're in the market for a 51,000 square foot house halfway between New York City and Boston, head over to the mansion section in the Wall Street Journal. And if you're looking to just get a weekend away, head over to Wander. Find your happy place. Find your happy place. Book a Wander with inspiring views, hotel-grade amenities, dreamy beds, top-tier cleaning, and 24/7 concierge service. It's a vacation home, but better.
Well, in 2 minutes, we have Max Levchin from Affirm joining. Very excited about that. Tyler, do you want to give us a quick review of the Time 100 list?
Please.
How are we looking?
Yeah, it's pretty mid. So okay, so it's like basically so there's a couple different sections. There's like thinkers, innovators.
Creator of the Midas
shapers.
list calls other AI lists mid.
But so it basically has most of the lab CEOs, but it's missing Demis for some reason.
Oh, weird.
So kind of strange.
Yeah.
It has Nat Friedman and Alexander Wang share a spot.
Odd.
A little bit odd too.
Okay.
But it's like okay, it's like reasonable. Obviously, CEO lab
homies.
CEOs are
They're buddies.
influential.
Yeah.
They're missing a lot of big researchers, right? Ilya's not there.
Whoa.
What?
Basically, most of the big researchers are not there.
Okay.
But it's like maybe it's like not technical. There's some like big.
Are there some
investors.
Do you
Easter
think
eggs?
it was
Isn't the
pay to
Pope on
play? Do you think it was pay to play? And Ilya,
You're
just
getting
was
that
like,
vibe a little bit.
I'm not paying to be on your list.
Yeah, especially as you go down, you see there's some good picks. Josh Kushner, great pick.
Oh, nice.
Love to see him
I
there.
support that one.
But then you go down. It's
Rick
like
Rubin's in there?
Rick Rubin. You see
Okay.
the president of the teachers union.
Okay.
A little odd.
Yeah.
You see
Wait, which teachers union?
The American Federation of Teachers.
Oh, I mean, that makes total sense. Like, they're on the bleeding edge. Scale is all you need. There's a lot of teachers out there.
I suppose.
There's
yeah.
like some senators.
I think it makes sense in the sense of like influential. They're going for influential. So it's like if the head of the teachers union decides that
He's extremely
AI will be
educated.
used in every classroom in America, that is an influential decision that will steer how AI is implemented.
Yeah, but up until now, has the union affected AI progress in any way?
Probably in the sense of like, I mean, maybe not yet, but I'm not exactly sure what they put out. But if they signal that like we are in full support of AI in the classroom, let's get universal basic ChatGPT, let's go all in. That is an important moment for the AI industry. Just like if they say, hey, teachers don't want AI in the classroom at all, we're going to ban it. We're going to ban phones. We're going to ban technology. Like that is an important like fork in the road of AI progress, even if it's not tied to capabilities.
Okay. What about this Minister of Communications, Innovation, and Digital Economy for Nigeria? Thoughts on that?
I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on there.
Seems, I don't know.
I like this quote in the chat though from Gabe. He says, Alex Karp never learned AI. He was too poor and now he's too rich.
John in the X chat says the Pope is
The
on.
Pope is on the
there.
list.
The Pope is on the list.
Let's give it up for the Pope.
Let's give it up for the Pope. He's a Chicago boy. Right? Isn't he American Pope? I mean,
The American
I think
Pope should be on the
broadly, I would say the list is extremely word cell oriented. There's almost no shape rotators.
Okay, rough.
I think a
Bearish.
good Easter egg, Pliny the Liberator. You know the
No way.
X Anon.
No, you're kidding.
No, I'm serious. It's the very last spot. Digital
No way.
jailbreaker.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, they did get some crazy ones on there. That's
yeah, but
good.
it's like, I mean, sure, it's like a good pick, but like I would like to see Gwern. I would
Yeah.
like to see Dwarkesh, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No,
Dwarkesh got snubbed for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. A bunch of the researchers, I would
Okay.
imagine.
Okay. Download the HTML, fix the list, repost it in the next 20 minutes. Anyway, we will move over to our first guest of the show. We have Max Levchin. Here he is.
Welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. That's cool walk-on music.
We're working on it. Yeah, a little bit better every day.
We have expect more sound effects too. Just fair warning. You
Yeah,
guys just had a great quarter, so we might do something like this.
Yes.
All right.
Where should we kick it off? Maybe we should start with the quarter update. How is the business going? Give us like the high level overview of how you are positioned in the company, what is next on the horizon for you, and then obviously I have a whole bunch of other questions that we can dive into.
Sure. Quarter speaks for itself. It's pretty killer, if I do say so myself. GMV, which is a fancy acronym for Merchant Sales Powered by Us, grew 43%, which is a fourth in a row quarter of accelerating volume growth, which is pretty powerful for a payments company.
Incredible.
This is in the, for those not watching, the quarter we just reported, the GMV number was 10.4 billion.
Yep.
So, compounding at 40%-ish, pretty solid.
Pretty solid.
Users, sorry?
Pretty solid. Extremely solid.
Extremely solid is good. I'll take it.
Extremely solid. We're very happy. Congratulations.
Accelerating growth at scale.
We love it.
You don't see it often.
Exactly.
But
just hit GAAP profitability, which for internet companies are not expected to do that. We're 15 years in. It's well expected of us. So we delivered on that. It's not a huge surprise to anybody. We said exactly a year ago, it'll take us exactly 1 year to exit with GAAP profitable, and we delivered on that. User growth accelerated for the 6th quarter in a row, so it's another really nice result. Anyway, every metric is anywhere between mid-30s to low 40s.
How are you breaking down the GMV growth? Like, what do you think is driving that? Well, what can we read into that on like the health of the American consumer or the broader consumer market? Like, what's the story that we should be telling around GMV?
Yeah,
growth?
how is macro driving it versus just your team's execution?
Yeah,
it's actually a really good question. So normally, every quarter, I get asked 12 different ways, hey, so what's the standout segment? And there's always like, people are really traveling because COVID's over. So airlines and tickets. And then everybody upgraded their electronics during COVID. And then it was like a dead lull for electronics for a year and a half. And then poof, everybody needed a new TV. So this quarter is special because there's not a single category that is like, oh, wow, that thing's exploding. Like literally every category is generally speaking contributing on par with the average or the weighted average. And the best explanation I got, which these things, you think we know everything about American consumer just given our scale, and we kind of do, but it's also now big enough where parsing it is more and more of a spelunking process. And what I think is really going on is we've hit an inflection point where buy now, pay later as an industry is just such a part of the vernacular. People are like, oh, of course I'm going to pay over time for this thing, and I'm going to use Affirm. And so I don't have a great it's a standout industry X. The only thing that sort of jumped out at me when I was looking through the category results, services, like in-home services, things like that, are really growing nicely. In part, that's because our card, which we launched a couple of years ago, that's growing at 120% year over year. So it has a sort of its own very, very strong growth curve. That's a really nice product to pay for things that are not traditionally bought online. So as an offline tool, it's just surging really nicely. So services are kind of a standout story. But even that is like just distributed across many, many different things.
Yeah. What about that narrative that was kind of bubbling up around tariffs, where there was this thesis that consumers would be fearful about like the iPhone price going up, and so they would lock in current prices by pulling forward demand. Did you see any evidence of that being true or bearing out or not?
A little bit. I would call it as I think a bunch of public company CEOs spoke to this last couple of quarters, sort of pulling forward some purchases people expected, et cetera. Not a major contributor. I don't think I could stick a finger to that, but like that's the root cause of growth.
What about interest rates broadly? How are you thinking about profitability in a high interest rate regime? There's a lot of discussion around should rates be lowered. Is that a tailwind, a headwind? How are you thinking about the interest rate environment broadly?
Yeah, I feel like it says a lot that you guys are putting these numbers up in I would say that critics 5 years ago, or not 5 years ago, only a few years ago would have said
the model will never work in a higher interest rate environment, right? That was the criticism, and you kind of proved it wrong. But walk me through a little bit more of like the actual flow from interest rates to the business.
The interest rates are certainly an input. So we're non-depository, non-bank lender, which means that our own capital, or the capital that we lend out, is some form of sourced. And there's multiple ways of doing it. We're extremely diversified in our source of capital. You have to be, because at any given time, somebody may choose to no longer participate. We generally speaking have an extremely strong set of relationships. At this point, I kind of lost count. It's so many different folks that we work with, both at sort of huge depositories, insurance companies, banks, funds. Some of these people buy our loans. We now are big enough where we securitize on a fairly regular basis, which means people buy our securities, the receivables that we securitize. And then we have a whole collection of what's called warehouse lines, where you finance the receivables, or you borrow against the receivables as a security. And so all of that comprises our capital markets program. every one of these people has their own benchmark, which of course is dictated by Fed funds rate to a pretty significant degree. Majority of these agreements, majority of these contracts are reasonably long dated, which means that an increase in interest rates or a decrease in interest rates is a sort of a slow trickle into our cost of capital. So it's not a tomorrow morning we go back to ZIRP, which I think we won't. But as the rates will come down, inevitably, there's now enough conversation about it, it will accrete to us as sort of a tailwind to the business, but it won't happen overnight, just like even the sharpest increase in history, which is what we saw in the tail end of 23, I think, didn't really impact us overnight, but required quite a lot of maneuvering to make sure that we consistently deliver yield to the people who buy our loans or those who lend to us against it. But it'll be nicer, it'll be easier perhaps to run this business when the rates come down. But I think a couple of quarters ago, I had a headline in my letter saying higher for longer is just fine. We obviously printed great margin. We call our margin RLTC, revenue less transaction cost. It's a very fancy term for essentially the bottom line of the business. And that's been between 3 and 4, with I think one exception every quarter since we were public in the first months of 2021. And so rates have changed quite a lot from then to 23 to now, and we've been able to maintain a very consistent margin that should tell you everything you want to know.
Are there any new uses or unlocks in the buy now, pay later world that you're thinking about? We were talking about Coterie diapers earlier on the show. It's a subscription product. And I always thought that there's a world where you get a year's supply delivered, you pay for a year's supply, and then you use buy now, pay later to just do the virtual financial transactions every month, but you only have to pay for one shipping fee. And so the cost to the consumer, there's some savings there for both the consumer and probably it doesn't work if it's a really big object, but for small things that are subscription, maybe there's a match there. Have any of the smaller dollar merchants or more regular purchase merchants been beneficiaries recently?
Actually, if you look at our average ticket, I think when we went public, I already screwed this up today once, so I don't want to perjure myself again. But I think our first quarter as a publicly traded company, we were on the order of $900, maybe.
Yeah, people think about it as like you're getting a Peloton or something. You're buying a TV. You're in the $1,000 range roughly, and it makes sense and you're going to have that thing for 5 years, so it makes sense to match the payments to the price.
So this quarter, our average ticket is just under $300. So that should give you a really good sense for the trickle down. All the while, our transaction frequency went up, I think, over 20% just in the last year.
Yep.
And so as people realize that this is a great alternative to credit cards, we're getting more and more acceptance in all kinds of places. The thing you're describing, kind of this reverse factoring, if that may be the right term for it, I don't know if that happens too much yet, but it's a good idea. I didn't actually think of the shipping savings, but that's very real, and it's good for the environment, all sorts of things. So I'll suggest it to our sales team immediately.
Fantastic.
Let's give you credit for that. Amazing. My kids are out of diaper age, but this would have been helpful.
If it works, I will expect you to send me a year's supply of coffee, because are you still into coffee? I read that about you. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Explain to me coffee. I don't know anything about coffee. Where should I get started? What should I avoid? Give me the TLDR on how to become a coffee expert quickly.
You've opened a can of worms or a can of Folgers that you may not have wished for. Really quickly, so I'm a huge espresso aficionado, so you got to sort of put that's a bucket in and of itself. There's plenty of people who think that the highest form of coffee is something else, but I love espresso. The easiest way to get into it is find a great, what's called third wave coffee shop nearby. And that's typically a place where they don't sell food, or they may sell like some pastries in a corner, but it's a coffee centric small coffee shop.
Sure.
And chat up the barista behind the counter and ask them to teach you about tasting espresso.
Okay.
And like from no idea what this is to I can understand what you're talking about when you say crema and sour versus bitter shot and all sorts of fun jargon and minutia will hit you.
Okay.
And you'll either be like, oh, I can totally taste the sour apple in this shot. And you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If you're in the former group, you've hit the right rabbit hole. And like 6 months later, you'll be buying your first La Marzocco for $10,000. And so
when do you have your last espresso? When do you have your last espresso shot of the day?
Yeah. What's your caffeine stack look like?
So I wake up pretty early in the morning, and before I brush my teeth, because I don't want to mess my
palate.
I'll exactly. So I'll have some water, but sparkling water is the right thing to drink before espresso. Just,
okay.
You know?
Yep.
I'll head downstairs and do what's called dial in my espresso machine, which is in fact a very expensive La Marzocco, of course, and not the only one I own either. But you asked. Like this whole conversation is now going to be.
You got a blowout quarter.
Let's talk about coffee.
We could just talk about coffee for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
We should go back to a fermented.
Yeah, I've got a couple more.
So I'll dial in espresso machine, which means that I'll grind and pull. And 2 is like a good, like I can get to a really good tasting shot by 2 shots if I feel at the time and feel especially passionate, or it's not working out. I take
you're
shots.
you're making the first shot, you're tasting it, seeing the
if it's where you want to be.
And then you're trying to iterate on it to get
interesting.
And dialing in is basically 2 things. You're setting your grinder fineness setting, and then you're playing with the time of the pull. The 2 are not entirely independent variables. Like the finer the ground, the longer it takes to pull the shot, but you control when you want to stop it.
Interesting.
And I have 3 different 1/10 of a gram precision scales in my kitchen just to make sure.
What's the most you've spent on a single bag of beans? Because that's one thing that's interesting about coffee addiction. Is
people think
the upfront cost of the machine can be high, but then the actual habit, enjoyment of it doesn't actually. It feels like something that everyone can get into.
Yeah.
Espresso is expensive, but it's not outrageous.
Sure.
I think at any given, it's also amortized over time of consumption.
Sure.
So on the one hand, yes, you can blow a lot of money on extremely rare espresso, but even if you tried, like you couldn't spend more than $100 per bag unless you go into like crazy outlier, but like, really rare, very time sensitive, only roasted in this particular time of the year from this particular single origin espresso farm in some faraway land. Like even that will run you like $150. Like, there's some exceptions, but that's a good high tensile average. I spend probably $30 per espresso bag that I buy, and I try to buy larger sizes so to save on shipping, obviously.
That's great.
Smart.
Sorry,
what's going back to the business? What do you think is the number one misunderstanding around the category from investors? Because I feel like buy now, pay later is something that people experience as a consumer all the time. They're seeing it all the time. They think they might have a good sense of how the business works, but it's still relatively new, at least in this form.
Totally. Today's market reaction actually tells me maybe, we'll see what happens in the days and months ahead. But I think for the first time, the reaction correlates pretty well to our perception of our performance. We've been printing exceptional quarters for a very long time. The stock has been essentially not a good predictor of our performance, just fairly uncorrelated. It's gratifying to see, like, we have a blowout quarter, the stock does really well. So that's putting that aside. There's a bunch of things that are still misunderstood probably, but I feel like they're less misunderstood now, at least today. I think a lot of people think, oh, that's for people that can't afford to buy things, they borrow money, and that's why. And that's such an arrogant point of view. It frustrates me a lot. And maybe that's the thing that angers me the most. I'm not sure it's the most important thing that's misunderstood, but it's the angriest thing that I have to have a beef with. It's fundamentally a better product than credit cards, simply because credit cards are designed to get you into revolving debt, which is a exponential function. Like, as sort of the simplest form of math, you borrow $1,000, make minimum payments, sit on a balance, it looks like this. It just goes up and up and up. And people on coasts, us, generally speaking, look at them like, I don't understand. I just paid off at the end of the month. A lot of people don't. It doesn't make them poor. It doesn't make them dumb. They actually have much better facility with interest rate math because they actually pay interest. And for a lot of those folks, it's not a matter of I cannot afford it. In fact, we will not lend money to someone who cannot afford it. Our whole model is built around the idea of no late fees, no gimmicks, no compounding interest, which means that we can only lend money to those who can afford it. And so they're discerning customers. They're not poor. They have jobs pretty much 100% of the time. And they are the very middle Americana that fuels this country in every way imaginable. They use this product as a great alternative to credit card, but they're not like, this is not the last resort. This is not even near kind of a bottom of the economic strata. And so that's been misunderstood for a long time. I think it's a lot better now that people have seen the performance of our securitizations are public in terms of their results, and they're updated more frequently than our quarterly earnings. And so you can pretty easily see that the loss rates are meaningfully below those of credit cards, which even the casual observer can be like, okay, so clearly this thing is performing better than what we compete with.
Yeah. And how is the competitive dynamic? How have the competitive dynamics changed over the last few years?
It's a competitive space. Payments has never had a monopoly ever in any version of payments, which is not a surprise given how enormous it is. It's the single largest industry in the world. Maybe energy gets close. And it's very competitive, which is good in a sense that it forces people like us to compete, or everyone to compete on substance. Like, it's very hard to compete in a highly competitive market on things like clever slogans and temporary promos. Like, you have to perform day in and day out and year in, year out. And so our competitive edge has always been underwriting, just depth of understanding of the borrower, of the end customer, better usage of data, better modeling, kind of living in the cutting edge of whatever the most interesting math thing that happened in the sort of the research world for us. And so in that domain, we're unmatched, and that's always been our strength, and we continue to win there. But there are plenty of competitors, and many banks that looked at us 10 years ago and said, no one will ever use this thing. It's stupid. It's barely understandable, have now come around and said, actually, we have our own buy now, pay later product. It's going to be great. You guys should use us instead. So that's probably, that's pretty.
Outside of the narrow competition within this particular category, BNPL, what does it look like to think about the next 10 or 20 years? There's this interesting dynamic that I've noticed where there are a few kind of broadly fintech founders who are still at the helm. They're in double digits, billions market cap. They don't seem to be slowing down, and they're somewhat on a collision course where they're starting to build products in the other spaces. And the legacy players, the really big banks, are maybe less in founder mode. And so just as like a startup Silicon Valley guy, I kind of root for the next wave. And I'm wondering, obviously, like the current product is working well. Everything, you've been on this for a long time. Like, is there a desire to build like a mega firm and expand into a bunch of different categories? What are the risks associated with that? How narrow do you want to stay, and over what time? Do you have a vision for where you want to go over the next several decades?
Yeah, for sure. So if you look at our mission statement, which very proud to note has not changed a word since the day we started the company. We're almost 15 years old, so we're still a startup. We're definitely in founder mode. And I am the founder. Yeah. But we're 15 years.
Sorry, that's one of our sound effects.
Gotcha.
Love it. I'm urgently in search of a soundboard here.
Well, we'll set you up with one.
Excellent. Anyway, so our mission is to build honest financial products that improve lives. Mm-hmm. That is not nearly as narrow as let's have some loans at the point of sale. Yeah. Now, loans at the point of sale turn out to be a roughly $1 trillion TAM. And so we're pretty busy trying to claw our way. Every quarter we print 10 billion. That's a round off error. And so we'll continue trying to get our way to a one or multiple percentage points of the overall just in the current plan. Yeah. But the consumer that we attract and this sort of speaks to sort of your broader question, like where's this whole thing going? The thing that's really amazing / sort of what a time to be alive, sort of like the thing that I wake up to every morning, like we're all getting so much smarter. It's so cool. Like this whole AI revolution and the various sort of offshoots of the idea, even before and certainly what's to come next, it's like the general increase of the IQ of the universe that we are familiar with. Like certainly a general increase of the IQ of the internet savvy consumer, which naturally accretes to the younger player. People 25 years older than me have a harder time catching on to the current thing. People 25 years younger than me, they're born with it. Like they have no idea what it's like not to have an iPhone. They have no idea what it's not to talk to ChatGPT about. My kids just like pull up their phone and be like, what's the answer to this thing? And I'm like, it's a lot of steps. Like, no, it's not. It's just like one bicep movement. And so as we all get smarter, lots of things are changing. And the idea of, I got tricked into this stupid financial product. Man, I'm so unhappy about the dumb loan I took out or the sale I did with my stocks or, all the many things that people regret about financial products is going to start trending down because you will have a PhD level advisor, as Sam Altman likes to say, at all times in your ear telling you, hey, that's a good idea, that's a bad idea, that you will trust, that will be completely dispassionate and will have a really deep understanding of who you are and where you're going financially and in your life with your goals. And so as a company that's built to create products that we are proud of, like lending is kind of a dirty industry. Like the reason we tackle this thing is because I've done payments my entire professional career on and off, and lending is like the thing you don't touch because it's like kind of yucky. Like you want to maybe stay away from that because like ultimately it's all about late fees and compounding interest. And we started the company specifically to not have late fees, to not have compounding interest, to all the things that people hate. We wanted to be on the opposite side. And I was told over and over again by people like, this is stupid. One, that's where the profit is. But two, you can't survive. Like the whole industry depends on this. Like, don't be an idiot. And we just kept on going like, yeah, we'll figure it out. And for the longest time, people look at us and be like, okay, you have less margin and less opportunity for margin. And boy, that's going to be tough. And it wasn't easy. But with every passing day, as people get smarter, it gets easier because the machines will not make the mistake that consumers make when they're like, oh, it's a big zero. The asterisk, I don't care about the asterisk. Like, you should care about the asterisk. We don't have an asterisk. The rest of the industry is about to find out what it's like when a PhD level advisor is like, mind the asterisk, it is about to screw you. And so that's like lyrical digression. But where the world is going in financial services is there's tons of opportunity to apply the same level of purism that we brought to lending to other things, from mortgages to banking to auto loans to all sorts of fun things, where if it's not good for consumers, it will be naturally demoted by the next generation of search engines, which are the AI bots. Yeah. So there's a lot to do. It's not just point of sale loans for sure.
I want to play out a hypothetical counterfactual. What would the world look like if you couldn't sell PayPal, no one could ever leave PayPal, and the original PayPal mafia was still working together on that business?
Well, you wouldn't have SpaceX, you wouldn't have Tesla, you wouldn't have Founders Fund, you wouldn't have David Sachs, the AI czar.
Yeah.
The world would be a boring place.
I suppose, yeah. Do you think PayPal would be like $1 trillion, like owning everything, like financial institution for everything? Like, get your mortgage, trade your stocks, crypto, everything. Like, would there be any chance for an upstart fintech company?
You'd have a first true monopoly. And
yeah. You said it's competitive space. Would it still be competitive if the entire team was there?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
This dates me, but it'll date anybody. Yeah. There's a great comedic musician / math professor named Tom Lehrer. If you don't know who he is worth knowing. Mm-hmm. He had a great quote at a great time in high school, but I certainly wouldn't want to repeat it. Mm-hmm. And I think PayPal was a little bit of a high school for all of us. It was crazy times. We're super young. Some strange things happened. Some tough words were spoken. And the fact that we're all friends now is a function of the fact that we're no longer working together in some ways.
Sure.
And so I think we all graduated with decent grades and went on to everything from graduate school to other fun projects. But I think in many ways, PayPal was as successful as it was in spite of some of the decisions we made and some of the behaviors we exhibited than because. I think all of us went into our next set of ventures with a very strong view of, I would love to do that again, and I'm definitely not doing this other thing ever again to myself. And so the learnings of the crucible of PayPal are unique, but I'm not sure the original crew starting another company together would be a really fun thought experiment. That would be quite something, because we're all older and presumably smarter.
The Avengers.
The Avengers. Yeah. Well, what lessons from PayPal have you codified in sort of like the employee handbook at a firm? Or like what are the stories that you tell to a new hire at a firm where you can go and say, this has been true, not just for the history of a firm, but it's been true for every business I've been involved in for my entire career?
You know, it's not necessarily true for every business. So I had my own educational journey, if you will, where after PayPal, one of my erroneous conclusions was, man, PayPal was such a tough environment. Like, it was not out of character for any one of us to storm out of a meeting because, like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're wasting my time. F this and F all of you. Like, not quite, I wasn't kidding when I said tough words were spoken. Like, we could tear down each other and our ideas on any given Tuesday, et cetera. And when I left PayPal, I was like, I'm going to definitely start another company. I would love to start with people like these or even these people. And by the way, one of my firm co-founders was one of my closest collaborators from PayPal. So the band is still comes together and builds interesting things. But I was so over-indexing on the tough interpersonal relationship side of things was exhausting. And I don't want to do that again. And I really overdid the let's make a family, not a team. And that was an error. Like, I had since realized that one of the huge benefits of PayPal was this no holds barred, your idea is stupid. And I'm going to tell you, and you're not. Like, I may be driving this idea of yours into the ground and stomping on it and trying to kill it, but just so you remember, we're here because you're brilliant and I'm not so dumb myself. And like, let's work together to make a better one. Figuring out how to package that into a conversation that holds across 2,200 people is like the team strategy at a firm.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to tell someone, that's a dumb meeting, it's a dumb idea, I'm out of here, please do better than this, while not tearing them down personally, while not damaging their conviction around their place in the team, the company's mission, all those things. And so that's a tricky balance to strike. I think we do a pretty good job here, but that is probably the single most important lesson.
Yeah, embracing disagreeableness as a character trait of a high performing employee or coworker is it's so underrated. And once it clicks and you feel it, and you feel someone disagreeing with you, but they're not disrespecting you, they're just actually making their own decision and bringing their own information, their own perspective. It's extremely refreshing when you first feel it, at least in my experience.
The thing that's stuck in my head is then we'll let you go, is this idea of the entire lending industry being built assuming that the average person doesn't have access to legal services, right? Traditionally a wealthy person will get a loan agreement and they'll have their counsel, review it, spend thousands of dollars, making changes or potentially walking away. And I'm very excited for what you guys can do in this space in a world where anybody in the world can take a loan agreement or fine print, drop it, and get, maybe it's not the best lawyer in the world, but it's at least decent. And
it's dangerously close to the best lawyer in the world. It's really, that's exactly right. And I think that's, we built the company on the assumption that that's coming. The fact that it's coming so quickly and in the way that is conversational and easy is just like deeply inspiring. Like I am very pro AI because the notion of everyone's IQ is just getting lifted every day more and more is so powerful. Yeah. Like this whole, the sideshow of, oh gosh, the jobs, like everyone has gotten so much smarter. They can do the jobs that were always out of reach for them. Like the whole thing is just going to elevate things.
That's also one of the most interesting, like AI is a tailwind for my business theses I've ever heard. Instead of just like, I'm going to use AI to, lay everyone off and cut my costs. It's like, no, AI will make consumers pick me over the competition. Incredibly confident. I love it.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing.
Brilliant.
And thank you for hopping on the show. This was fantastic. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend.
Soundboard. Email me if you want coffee advice. I got coffee
we will
advice.
We will definitely ping you about more coffee advice.
Trade notes.
I think the entire team in the studio would be
yeah.
Happy
Congrats to the whole team on the market.
Thank
finally waking up and seeing your guys' level of execution. It's really fantastic.
That's getting started.
Amazing. We will talk to you soon.
See you next quarter.
Thanks so much. Bye.
See you.
Up next, we have James Bolosic from Send Cut Send, one of the hottest companies in defense tech. Anyone who's building anything, they know Send Cut Send. They use them regularly. I'm very excited to bring
custom
James
sheet metal MVPs.
Yes.
World champions.
From the Restream waiting room into the TBPN Ultradome. Welcome to the stream. James, how you doing?
What's happening?
Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Did I get this right? So I'm not a customer, but I know a ton of your customers. Why don't you just explain exactly who your customers are, how you grew the business? I'd love to kind of kick it off with like an intro on you and the company.
Okay. Our customers are everyone, I guess.
Everyone.
Usually the way I describe it, like my mom. My mom has a silly sign that we cut for her that says "Live, Laugh, Love," and then we also have parts that are in orbit right now.
Wow.
We have parts at the bottom of the ocean, parts in Antarctica. We do work for 60 to 70% of the Fortune 500.
Wait, how big can you go? You might be the solution.
We're
looking for a bigger gong. We're looking
for
a bigger
gong. Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping you would ask. Yes.
Because we are trying to get a rather large gong.
Yes.
And this gong is relatively
big,
modest.
But it's not big enough.
And
it needs to be even bigger.
This is incredible.
Oh, yeah. I think we could even put logos all over it. That might be some sponsorship opportunity.
There we go.
Now we're talking.
We go. You're talking
this
our
is
language.
Fantastic. Do you have any update for the business? Can you share anything about the scale of the business? How many employees or size of the business? Anything you got?
Yeah. We're in our 7th year of operation. We're profitable.
Profitable? Let's hit the gong for
I love hitting the gong for profitability. There's nothing better.
Yeah.
There's nothing. The big fundraisers, they're great, but nothing like little profit.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're doing 9 figures of revenue.
Wow.
About 350 employees.
That's amazing.
So yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, and all in America, right? What does the actual footprint of the business look like? Where are you based? What's the scale right now?
Yeah, 100% in the U.S., including support staff, remote staff. We have staff in 22 states, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Our headquarters is in Reno, Nevada, which is not known to be a big manufacturing tech hub or whatever, but we're doing
the biggest little city.
Yeah, it's known for a lot of things, but yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
We have a facility in Paris, Kentucky, which is a town of about 10,000. Yeah.
Paris.
Paris.
And then Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
So just about 200,000 square feet under roof right now.
Okay. So 2018, 7 years ago, you start the business. There was not an American Dynamism meme at that time. People weren't writing breathless blog posts.
I was going to ask when the
like,
American Dynamism meme started. Did you look?
I invented American Dynamism. Hey, come on. But seriously, what was it? Was it a happy accident, or was it deliberate that you saw something on the horizon about America's need to manufacture things domestically, and you made the conscious decision, or was it just like, hey, you're here, you're making your thing, you're building the business. Why not build it where you grew up?
Yeah, I'm not that smart. I don't see the future very well. Really, it was for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
I needed parts made. So
Sure.
I've always been a car guy. I'm always working on weird side projects, and I needed some custom parts made. No one really wanted to make them, especially in a quantity of one.
Yep.
I could get them made in 1,000, or I could wait 8 weeks but no one would make something, high mix, low volume. So I was like, well, I'm a software guy. I should be able to figure this out.
Yeah.
So that's really how it started. I told my wife, hey, I want to buy this machine. It's like $600,000, but I think if I can get just enough customers, it'll pay for itself, and then I get to use it for free.
Nice.
And for whatever reason, she was like, yeah, go for it. So I told her it would print money. Took about 7 years, and now it prints dollar bills. So hoping to turn that into hundreds at some point.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Talk about the actual automation and software that went into like increasing profitability of a given machine. I imagine that's like the secret sauce. That's the proprietary like platform that keeps margins reasonable in a world where probably anyone can go out and buy the same machine, but they're not going to get the same yield. How did that evolve? Where's the status of this now? Like, how autonomous is manufacturing in America?
Yeah, it's got to be a mix. It's got to be a mix of robots and dudes. And no matter what, I think you can over robot, you can over autonomize, if that's even a word. Or you can go with just too many humans. And I think we've figured out the right mix. You put guys where guys are really good, and you put robots where robots are really good.
Yeah.
I think our secret sauce was we approached this whole thing as software guys. We weren't manufacturers. We're like, oh, how hard can it be? Software development is supposed to be like the hardest thing. Like, we make all the money.
You're a computer scientist.
Yeah.
How hard can metal be?
But it was a gift because we approached things completely differently than anybody else.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't know any better. And we made a lot of mistakes. Like, we had to throw stuff away that people had learned 100 years ago, and we were just learning for the first time because we were trying to figure it out by ourselves. But some of the things we discovered, being software first, it helped us, like you said, we can beat everyone on efficiency and waste and material uptime or material utilization and machine uptime. So, our original vendors for our big equipment, they didn't want to sell us the machines because I showed them how we were going to use it and kind of hack their software and use our own. And they're like, oh, it'll never run. It'll never run. A few months later, the sales guy came back and saw our numbers and was like, oh, holy crap, can you teach us how to do it? So at one point, we thought, why don't we just license our software?
Yeah.
We're software guys, and I keep getting cut on metal, and it's heavy and stinky and whatever. But it's really not possible. Our software would not work for anybody else.
Yeah.
We're so weird with the way that we approach things. You really have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And I think really vertical integration is the way to do it. If I could, buy a bauxite mine and smelt my own aluminum and have my own ships to transport the aluminum and everything, I would. I don't know if that's the future for us, but really controlling everything from software up. Yeah.
Jordy, you can go.
Yeah, it feels like, we've had a lot of your customers on the show, and this is your first time. Have you intentionally stayed out of like the avoided kind of the hype cycle? I know you got a Jason Carmen video as of today, but it feels like if you wanted to, you could go out and raise like $1 billion right now, if you wanted to play that game. But it feels like it's just not something that doesn't seem like that's interesting. You seem to be just focused on this.
Yeah.
What's the motivation?
I don't know that world. Like, I don't know finance and venture capital or anything. I have a really tough time understanding our balance sheet. But it's, I have a high school education. I just like to make parts. Like, the way that I run this business is like a lemonade stand. We sell lemonade.
This is incredible. Yeah, I make parts. Sir, I make parts.
Yeah. So if we sell enough lemonade, I can take my profit and go buy more machines and make more lemonade. And that's really what I love.
Yeah.
So I've kind of had my head down for 7 years, and we've been doing it. We've been self-funded and able to buy all of our own stuff.
That's great.
And what I realized is, like, if you want to shortcut that and go the VC route, you can light money on fire so much faster in manufacturing than you can in software.
Yeah.
The CapEx is just absolutely wild. So thank God we didn't go down that path. We're a little smarter now. we do need to expand at a very, very rapid clip here in the next couple of years. We just got into CNC machining, which is an order of magnitude more expensive.
Yep.
But honestly, I don't want to raise. I want to show people that it can be done with our method, with our dumb finance method, and it can work.
It's great.
It's amazing.
Talk to me about how steep the distribution is in your customers. You said you're in, I think you said somewhere in 9 figures in revenue. And I imagine that there is a tension between I want to serve the mom who wants to cut a live, laugh, love sign or so whatever your example was, and then the reindustrialization process. And there's $1 billion on the table.
Waymo.
Yeah, exactly. And so, obviously, you want to say yes to both. They're both profitable, but there tends to be a tension in just every company. We have an enterprise, we have a B2B, we have a B2C business. Have you bifurcated the business at all internally? Are there trade-offs or tensions? Like, talk to me about how that evolves.
We treat everyone the same.
Wow.
We try and emulate In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Everyone gets a double the same way. You can't ask for it medium rare.
That's
you can't ask for a fillet of fish.
Yep.
The menu is small, but it's good, fast, inexpensive.
Yeah.
So we're actually very proud that all these rocket launch companies that use us, they get the same exact treatment as some guy who's building a Harley in his garage. So I think building a system that can serve everyone equally, maybe the Fortune 50s get a little worse service than they're used to.
Yep.
We're not bending over backwards. We're not giving them, net 300 terms.
Yep.
They get a little worse service, but then the guys in their garage get an amazing service, and then they grow. We help them grow. I want to see people do a prototype, and then 10 units, and then 100 units, and then 1 million units. Everyone should be making a business out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure at some point, like if we're talking about some huge customer that's going to be making trillions of things, like they always have the option to bring that in-house and do that themselves, and that's their financial calculation. But you're going to keep scaling, and it's a race between hey, you might be able to bring it in-house and do it a little bit better this year, but I'm going to keep going next year and then the year after, so maybe you stick around.
It's a huge incentive for us because in software and SaaS we had the concept of churn. Churn was absolutely terrible.
Yep.
Here, we don't really have a concept of churn until the company gets so large that they purchase their own equipment.
Yeah.
And we've actually advised on that a couple times.
I'm sure.
But it's a reminder of, we should be the ones scaling. We should be the ones growing with them, and we've been able to do it.
That's good. Jordy, you have something?
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Our friend David Senrose someday, I think, is going to make a podcast episode about you.
Yeah.
It'll have to be a biography first, to reference on.
I do have a question. The chat loves you, by the way. Everyone is like obsessed. It's going crazy. But I have a question about like position against like American-made products. Like the narrative is there's always the narrative that like China's cheaper. But then there's also
and they respond faster.
The responding faster thing. There was this viral YouTube video. I'm sure you saw it of like I tried to make something in America versus China, and like the Americans couldn't get it to me, and blah blah blah. And so when I've heard the initial narrative, a lot of it's been like, look, we're going to be a little bit more expensive, but we're going to be higher quality, more reliable, more compliant with DoD rules and government rules. But how do you see the landscape of comping your business to international competitors evolving? Like what's at the top of the stack in terms of benefits of going with you over international competitors, and how is that evolving?
Well, I think no matter how fast we are and how much better the service, people always will shop with their wallet. They vote with their wallet, right?
Yeah.
So our goal is we have to be equal, if not better, than offshore options, and we are. So especially on the CNC side, because of everything we've learned, we've been able to leverage our software and our efficiencies, and so we can compete. We have a lot of customers that are coming to us now and going, hey, you guys are maybe $1 more or $1 less, but you're faster, so I'm going to use you. It's 100% possible. There's a lot of people that are coming back onshore. I think the climate right now with the tariffs and then the no de minimis shipping and everything, there's a wave right now of stuff coming back onshore.
Yeah.
So if you're equipped so that you can respond or you can do instant quoting, a lot of these shops, they were set up in the 80s and 90s, and it was based on facts, and it was based on like, hey, let me look at your blueprints for 2 weeks, and then and then we'll send you a letter in the mail or something. And they still operate that way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm encouraging people to go start manufacturing now, because you're going to start with a totally different tech stack than anyone ever has.
That's cool.
There's, email first, chat first, texting first.
Yep.
That's really where the business is. China does a good job of it, but all the new startups that I've interacted with are doing it even better.
Yeah. So speaking of those new startups, like I'm interested to hear from you, since you're so far upstream of like the next tech shift. We've heard about like drones. Like there's been a boom in drones. There's been a few industries. What are you seeing on like the next breakout interesting industry of like things or objects or physical products that's being made in America that you have an early insight into, where you're like, oh, I didn't actually know that we'd have that as a customer, and now they're here making cool stuff, and I see their products, and that actually could be big. I'd be interested to see what your take on like the hard tech world is broadly, even outside of like defense and B2B.
I'm actually really excited about the basics. It's not necessarily a category like drones or automotive or aerospace or whatever. It's people are making nuts and bolts here again.
Sure.
They're making washers. They're making just simple brackets. Stuff like that, it has been offshored for way too long. And a lot of people don't want to make it because offshore could always, outcompete.
Yep.
And so you'd lean on something like ITAR in order to like do your aerospace work that couldn't be done offshore.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now is just dead simple stuff that is going into OEM components. And I was like, okay, once we get that base, then you can add complexity as we go. So I don't know what the next thing is. I think drones is a great one.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of movement in automotive, just with OEMs that were producing stuff in the U.S. They have factories in the U.S., but the castings maybe came from offshore.
Yep.
Some of those castings are coming from here in the U.S. now. So it's really exciting at the basic level.
Yeah, automotive's interesting. It feels like Tesla's obviously vertically integrated very heavily, but it's kind of caused like a rethink of all the OEMs. They all need to rethink their strategies. Anyway, Jordy, anything else?
I'd like to see you guys acquire Intel, and
that would be great.
And get them on the right track, because I think
your
system of dumb finance or whatever you called it, plus just hardcore engineering, it's clearly working.
Yeah. This is working. Anyway, thank you so much for hopping.
We're going to be your next customer. We're going to go.
We're definitely going to make something.
Go to the website.
I got the gong.
This.
Yep,
I'm ready for the gong.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Wait. You're the man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for joining.
Bye. We should end with this story of an OEM about the Cadillac, an electric caddy with Rolls-Royce aspirations. It's in the Wall Street Journal today. GM is betting that the Cadillac Celestiq, with its ultra-luxurious, customizable design and striking silhouette, will become a coveted electric limousine in the new gilded age of the hyper-wealthy. What do you think, Jordy, about the Celestiq? It's deep in the stack, but the boys are going to pull it up. There it is.
Whoa.
It's blue. It's got a little wagon vibe to it, a little hatchback. So this job requires an open mind. Obviously, our car test this week, says the Wall Street Journal, the Cadillac Celestiq, a sultanic, custom-crafted electric limousine priced in the mid-six figures, has some explaining to do. But it's so gorgeous, I'm prepared to listen.
This isn't a concept?
This is a real car. They're shipping this. They're making it. For
This
starters.
is
what the hell makes GM think it can compete against ultra-luxury legends like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Aston Martin, and Maybach? When it struggles to even build full-size pickups properly. GM has one of the highest warranty costs and recall rates of any manufacturer. As for the Cadillac brand, most sales come from glowed-up versions of mass-market products such as the Escalade SUV and XT5 crossover. What does the Celestiq, a visionary 4-seat, 6-figure electro yacht built to ply the oceans of global privilege, have to do with that riffraff? Almost nothing. That's the point. The contradictions are largely a matter of optics. Unlike Jaguar, now on a production hiatus while ownership figures out how to retool and rebrand the classic British
is this a
Marquis.
four-seater?
This is a four-seater. Cadillac is reimagining itself in plain sight. While the division's profits currently depend on internal combustion-powered people movers in North America, the Celestiq maps the brand's ambitions beyond the U.S. in a gilded age of hyper-wealth. And you'll have to be hyper-wealthy because I imagine the depreciation on this thing is going to be insane. Can you imagine buying a $400,000 electric car?
When you could get a Bentley.
I mean, the Bentley is going to depreciate by $50K in the first year.
So what's the Cadillac going to do?
What's the Cadillac going to do?
90. It's going to look like a SPAC.
They got F1 now. They got Zuck. They got Coogan driving Cadillacs. And so maybe the brand's on an upswing. November 2024, Cadillac announced it would sponsor a team in the biggest, brattiest, most mammon-worshipping of all international motorsports, F1. Brick by brick, Cadillac is building itself an ivory tower. It wouldn't surprise me to see the division relaunched as an independent manufacturer in the next decade with its own IPO and everything. Let's just hope nothing ever happens to disturb the free flow of goods among our global trading partners. This is hilarious. Our Celestiq arrived at my hotel in Monterey, California 2 weeks ago, leaving no head unturned. The sense of occasion is partly owed to the car's luxuriant size. 217 inches. Do you know how long that is? 220 inches is the size of like a full size, like a Escalade, basically. So it is insanely long. The thing makes a full size Lexus sedan look like a toy.
How long is it?
217 inches.
Wow, so it's longer than the Maybach.
Yes. Wow, mogged.
Maybach is 215.
215. Well, they got you by 2 inches. Has a 130-inch wheelbase. The status-seeking proportions oblige designers to use the largest wheels and tires that could reasonably be fitted. Custom 22-inch Michelin Pilot Sport EVs wrapped around forged alloy rims. For extra swagger, you can specify 23s.
Talking with Jim at Send Cut Send made me think that we should get a Cybertruck, lower it, put it on smaller wheels, and
Cybericon.
Send to make a Huracan.
Yes. I've seen the demos of that. I would 100% be in.
Tyler,
Amazing.
Next project.
Yeah. Build a sports car version of the Cybertruck.
Just Send Cut Send.
Just Send Cut Send. The design signature move is obviously the fantabulous fastback glass and the tapering rear deck lid, the hatchback of the gods. Here I detect top notes of Jensen Interceptor and Maserati Merak. The brand's boomerang motif is restated in sizzling LED side markers in the sail panels. I chucked my suitcase into the cut pile spaciousness of the cargo compartment and closed the privacy shade on the rear window. What a fantastic idea. The fastback four-door configuration creates a chic, futuristic cabin with arranged more like an aircraft than an automobile, with 2 sets of identical sports seats, gorgeous, divided by central consoles with armrests and interactive touchscreen displays, all under the blister-like canopy of tinted glass. I was pleasantly surprised. Over the years, Cadillac has rolled out a series of ravishing ultra-luxury concept cars. The Sienne, the 16, the El Mirage. Have you seen those cars? The Cadillac Sienne. The Sienne looks insane. We should pull up a picture. That never made it to production for want of a business case. Cadillac's standard of the world motto grew increasingly pitiful. Indeed, much of what makes the Celestiq compelling might have been nixed by an earlier generation of bean counters. The technically demanding carbon fiber hood, the radio transparent material in the grille form, allowing the LiDAR emitters to be hidden behind the glass surface, the shaved exterior doors with hidden push buttons replacing door handles, the nifty panoramic roof. That's the Sienne. Yeah, that's the 2002 Cadillac Sienne. They got to ship.
I can see. You're such a Cadillac guy. I can just see you building out like the best.
Well, you
Cadillac.
Can't buy that. It was just a
There's always a price.
There's always a price.
Always a price.
I don't know if there's a price for that. I think that's only in automotive museums. I think that never.
It has butterfly doors too, right?
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. They should have shipped it. It would have been the
great option for.
It could have been the Audi R8 of the Cadillac brand, but they're going back into Halo cars. How does it drive? It's stupendous. A nuclear attack sub.
Are they calling this a Halo car?
This is definitely a Halo car. I don't know that they're calling it, but. It clearly is. The Wall Street Journal says it's stupendous to drive. It's a nuclear attack sub with heated massaging seats. Mecha Godzilla on little cat feet. Odd. Parts of California Route 17 winding over the mountains between Santa Cruz and Los Gatos, narrowed down to just 4 lanes separated by doom-threatening concrete barriers. The traffic is fast, close, and competitive. I dialed in the car's lane-keeping driver assistance and pointed it downhill, overtaking Porsches as I went. I could have driven with one finger. The unsprung mass of large wheel sets can provoke a grainy, noisy, undampened ride response. The Celestique chassis says, we'll have none of that. The car hangs on a veritable skyhook of gravity-defying interventions, including 4-corner adaptive air suspension, active magnetic dampers, active roll control, rear-wheel steering, adaptive all-wheel control. If drivers want, they can almost entirely eliminate dynamic body roll, so the car stays absolutely flat in corners, even as the lateral Gs throw personal effects into the footwells.
Maybach does have some body roll. Especially when it's the way that Speeder drives it. Well, folks, I think that's our show. It is a 3-day weekend. We will not be live.
We'll see you on Tuesday, folks.
Our team has been absolutely grinding. They're going to enjoy 3 full days away from the Ultradome.
Yes.
But Tuesday we'll be back.
Tuesday.
It'll be a big week next week. We've sensed that. Apparently, people are going to be announcing some fundraisers next week.
It's going to happen.
Summer's over. Well, I guess summer will be over Tuesday.
Yeah.
But
and the fundraising will
enjoy
begin.
the weekend. We're back on VHS. We love you.